Hello, check 1, check 2. I hope this audio is okay. I'm just gonna let a few people roll in. I'm just preparing stuff. Genki's not here today. He's actually busy today. So it'll be just me today. So yeah, shout outs to Genki. Hope he's okay. Genki's not here today. Just me today. Okay, I think my audio is okay. I'm not sure if I sound low or whatever. Yeah, can someone let me know? So I'm not sure. I've listened to it. It sounds okay, but we'll have to see. Okay, let's just get a couple of things ready. Very low. I sound very low. Okay, let's turn me up. I don't know why I'm so low. Or little. Is it better now? I don't know why it's so low, to be honest. Let me... Oh, maybe I've got this thing on the wrong setting. I have this new microphone, you see. What settings did I put it on? The wrong one? Let's try this one. I'll raise the gain a little bit. So if you can hear some noise there, I have to touch my microphone to adjust it, so it might sound a tad bit loud. Okay. Hopefully it's okay. Well, hopefully it's a little better now. I'll also I'll put the microphone a little bit closer, and I'll try and raise my voice a tad. Although I can't raise my voice too much. Yeah, I'm not hitting red bars or anything. Hello, welcome Vinnie Mac, welcome Solid Python. Thanks for coming through. Oh, it's much better. Oh, great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. We're gonna go through. Let's begin. It begins. Oh wait, hang on. Why is this not on here? It should be displayed. Oh, I'm not in the room. Don't wow. I'm not in the on-air room. That's where I should be. There we go. I'm still getting used to this YouTube. Using YouTube, Discord, Streamlabs. I've got 3 different things up. And I do not have like a dual screen set up. I only have 1 screen. So sometimes I miss things. But yeah. Hopefully that's better. Hi Timo! Steady flow! Steady flow, Genki's not here, so actually I'm hitting red bars now. So Genki's not here today. He's actually busy. He couldn't make it today, so he's a little bit busy today. Hopefully he'll be here next week. Shout outs to Genki, hope everything's okay. So yeah, let's get started then. Welcome to another Jodie and Genki show. It's a Genki-less show today. I'm running solo. Genki is busy. But, nevertheless, the Famitsu cells are out. And we have some stuff to talk about. So I'd like to start, as always, with the Famitsu software and hardware sales. And we've got a little bit of news. Forspoken released. We have the first week sales of Fire Emblem Engage, and there's been some update on that situation with the sales. There was a Xbox Developer Direct, which I will briefly cover because there really was only one new game, but it was a pretty interesting game, so we'll talk about that as well. And there's some news about developer Vanillaware, which is a very small but quite renowned developer that has a cult following. So we got a little bit of news about them, and then anything else we wanted to talk about. What I figured today, because Genki's not here, is that I'll get into the news, and if anyone wants to join me in the call, I'll talk to them about the news and stuff, and we'll do a bit of like a Q&A. So if you want to drop some questions in the chat as well, if you don't want to come on or you're not able to come on, drop some questions in the chat and I'll respond as best as I can. I figured we'd do that because Genki's not here today, so it's probably gonna be a bit of a shorter show. Okay, so let me check. Right, I need to see. I need to make my screen visible. Just one secondo. I'll do it. Okay, this is visible, right? This page, the Famitsu page. I'm gonna do some magic. Hang on. Oh no, I can't do it on here, can I? Do I not have the thing installed? Oh, I can translate it. Never mind. There we go. Okay, you can translate it without having the Google Translate thing installed. Okay, so I might take a little while to get to chat, just because I've got this like on full screen. If I make this smaller, it's going to make it smaller on the screen that you're seeing, and I don't want it to be too small, so I'll have to check every now and again for the chat and see what you're saying. So yeah, I can see your chat here, so I'll get to your chat. I want to talk about these game software sales ranking. That's Google Translate here. I've got a nice Google Translate. So we had really one big new release last week, and that is Fire Emblem Engage, which is a very interesting sales. So let's get into this. The Fire Emblem Engage sold 144,558 copies. So this is interesting because this is almost flat with the sales of the previous game, that's 2019's Fire Emblem Three Houses. But you'll notice something here. The sell-through bar is red here. So this means this sold through more than 80% of its stock. This means 80 to 100% sold through. And yesterday, or this was the day before, there was like some anecdotal reports of people saying, "Oh, it's sold out at Comeg," and it was just like anecdotal stuff that couldn't confirm, because a lot of people, myself included, were expecting the sales of Fire Emblem Engage to be higher than Three Houses, and it's not. It's only like a 1,000 higher. Three Houses sold 143,000 in its first week, so there's there is a couple of reasons why it seems that this is flat. Well, first of all, this isn't bad sales. This is good. This is very good sales. But I was expecting maybe around 200,000 going by the very, very strong Comic pre-orders, which was pretty much double that of Three Houses. But the first sign we got that maybe it wasn't going to be that high was when we got the first week Comic sales, so not the pre-order chart, the sales chart, and it was only like 44 points or copies higher than the pre-orders. And then she's like, oh, that didn't seem much higher. And we had the anecdotal stuff about the sellouts, and now so it's basically being confirmed that there's stock shortages at Yodobashi, Amazon Japan, and Comic, and probably other stores as well, but those are just the confirmed ones at this time. Amazon Japan, I believe if you go, I did check it, it will come up and it will say a date that's like 1 or 2 weeks out. So if you go on there, it's like on back order by 1 or 2 weeks. So that appears to be what's happened. The other thing to consider is that the digital sales are going to be a lot higher. Now, this occurs with now pretty much a lot of the Nintendo first party titles, especially the RPGs, because this occurred with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 as well, that they're in this voucher program. So this is I think it's a Nintendo Switch Online thing. You've got to be a member of the Nintendo Switch Online, and you get two digital games for a discount. So essentially it's the equivalent of $100 basically. So a lot of people with these RPGs that are more on the expensive side, because they don't have standardized pricing in Japan. It's like some will be cheaper, and then some will, especially RPGs, tend to be priced higher. So that appears to be what's happened with Fire Emblem Engage. And so, for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, once we got the shipment numbers from Nintendo, it was apparent that had a 60% digital rate, which is highly unusual for Japan, by the way, because Japan has something like 25 maybe 30% digital. Depends on the platform, it varies, but around there. So that's not the usual digital rate. So that's the reason for sales being flat. Let me just quickly check the chat situation here. Hi. Oh, thanks for retweeting, Timor. Hi, Timor. Solid Python. Solid Python Monster Hunter Rise did not release physically on PlayStation or Xbox. It's digital only, unfortunately. Digital only. Oh, yes, but even though it only released digitally, so unfortunately we can't. It's unfortunate for me because there's no. We can't see the sales. But I think the promotions or whatever they were doing for Monster Hunter Rise made the Switch version go back into the chart. So we talk about that. I got a bit off track there talking about Fire Emblem Engage. But let's talk about the rest of these. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, that sold another 43,983. Now, Fire Emblem Engage is the first game to topple it from the top spot in about 9 weeks, I think. Something like 9 weeks it's been at the top. So Fire Emblem Engage knocks it down. Splatoon 3, 16,000 at number 3. Number 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with 13.8 thousand. Number 5, we have Nintendo Switch Sports, 9,220. Actually, no, I won't read it's going to take too long if I read the full number, right? Minecraft at number 6 is 8,000. Mario Party Superstars at number 7 with 6,000. Number 8 is Momotaro Dentetsu with 9,000. 9,000. 5.9 thousand, sorry. Number 9 is the PS5 version of Gran Turismo 7. That's 5.4 thousand. Now, you're probably aware that this is a bundled game, so I'll talk about that in a sec, like what's going on there. And number 10, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate with 5.3 thousand. And I'd like to quickly talk about One Piece Odyssey, because One Piece Odyssey did release a couple of weeks ago, so it was in chart in last week's chart. It debuted, and it was in the top 10. Now, obviously, it's not in the top 10 now, right? It's dropped out. It dropped hard. So this last week was about 35,000. So One Piece Odyssey at number 11. That's 5.2 thousand. That's the PS4 version, and then the PS5 version's here at number 14 with 3.5 thousand sold. So I'm not sure what the percentage drop. I'll have to check on what was the percentage of they dropped down. Wait, this isn't the right page. Hang on a sec. I thought I prepared the page. I did not. Okay. Do we know the drop? Can you all see this okay? Make it bigger. Let's see. Yeah, 85% drop. That's pretty high. 87%. So that's pretty high, because for an RPG, RPGs are very like front loaded, right? So they with some exceptions, they don't have terribly long legs a lot of the time. So some exceptions would be like Pokemon, which we saw, and Elden Ring, which was earlier in the year, although that was like a really, really big release as well, right? So 80% would normally what you would see for RPG, and that's like 85, and then 87% drop for the PS5 version. That's huge. That's really not good. That drop, yeah, so that dropped off really fast. So these, I think they will hang around for another week. I think they might hang around for another week. So yeah. So that's the top 10. Just look at a couple of other things here. We do have the Switch version of Crisis Core still hanging around, right? That's 1.8 thousand for a total of 81,000 for the Switch version. The other two versions, I can't remember what they sold off the top of my head, but they're not in the chart, right? They dropped out. But altogether, this is more than 250,000. So I think this is done really well. Oh yeah, okay. Fit boxing, and then we got Horizon Forbidden West. This is a bundles game, right? So that's why that's here. So we're gonna look through. Yeah, Horizon Forbidden West. That's there because of bundles. And he was talking about Monster Hunter, right? So what's happened is that yes, there was a PlayStation and an Xbox. Although Xbox obviously wouldn't have tried anyway, even if it was released. But yeah, there was a PlayStation and Xbox version of Monster Hunter Rise that released last week. It was digital only. Unfortunately, it was digital only. But what happened, I guess with the promotion around it and everything, made Monster Hunter Rise plus Sunbreak set come back into the chart at number 20. Because this wasn't here before. It just suddenly come back in the chart. 1.6 thousand. So promotion made that one. So like I said, there's like ads and stuff, right? So people saw that and were like, oh, let me buy the Switch version. So that's what's happened there. And then yeah, at number 30, right at the end, we have Mario and Rabbids Galaxy Battle. Yeah, it's called Galaxy Battle in Japan, but the international name or the English name is Sparks of Hope. Yeah, that's 1.4 thousand for a total of 88,000. Now that's still below the launch sales of Kingdom Battle, of the first game. But it basically, I because it launched so low, because Galaxy Battle launched so low, I wrote it off. I was like, oh, okay, it's just complete flopped. It's come back a little bit from the flop situation. It's come back a little bit, so it's not a complete flop, although it did quite badly underperform the previous game. So yeah, but you'll notice something again. Not many PlayStation games, right? So I think there's like 5 or something. Is it 5 or 6? So we got this, yeah. So there's like, is it 5 games or 4? Hang on, let me count them. There's 1, 2, yeah, 3, 4. Is it just 4? Yeah, 4 games and 2 of them are bundled. So the situation is not good. The stock situation for PS5 has improved greatly in Japan. They are available. You might have to wait a bit, and you might have to. I think there's a lot of places that are still doing the lottery, so you might have to wait a little bit, but you can get one now. And so with that being said, let's look at the hardware. Let's quickly check the chat first. See what you're saying here. So Timor, thank you for retweeting the tweets. Do you think we will get numbers on Hi-Fi Rush? I think Xbox will give us some player numbers eventually for that game. I think we might get player numbers, yeah. We're going to talk about Hi-Fi Rush in a bit. Yeah, so Python, yeah, we said that it didn't release physically. If you can hear my phone, ignore that. Sorry about that. Solid Python, Bandai's strategy on how to release Switch games is so dumb. I don't believe in the double dip thing anymore, and those low One Piece numbers prove it. Yeah, so Bandai, the people say this and they say things like, "Oh, the Switch it can't run Dragon Ball Fighters. That's why it's not there. It can't run Dragon Ball Kakarot. That's why it's not releasing on there." And then the games come out like a year later, right? It just happens every time. Bandai Namco has some very, very strange, as you say, Solid Python, quote unquote, strategies on what they're doing for Switch, and it's not based on the power of the heart. It's not based on that, because if you look at their games and what they are releasing on the Switch and what they're not releasing on Switch and what they're releasing late, it'll be like certain studios, they will, because Bandai's really big, by the way, everyone here. They're huge, and they don't just make games, okay? So they are primarily a toy company. They're like maybe the second or maybe third biggest, I think the second behind Lego, or maybe the third behind Hasbro as well. But I think they might be second biggest toy company in the world. Okay, Bandai Namco is enormous, right? They have that. They have, anime. I think they have anime studios. They have. I think they might have arcades as well. Anyway, they're enormous. They're right? So they have different studios, and they have different publishers as well, where they'll. An external studio will develop the games. That's what happened with One Piece Odyssey. Was not developed by one of their internal studios. It was developed by Ilka, who was also the developer for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shine and Pearl, the remake, right? So there's the developer for that, and Bandai Namco has the video game license for a lot of anime franchises. Primarily a lot of the Jump ones, not all of the Jump ones, because obviously we saw the Demon Slayer game was published by Aniplex and Sega, and then you just saw that isn't that Jump as well? Fitboxing is who published that? I don't know. Anyway, it's not. Anyway, the point, it's not Bandai Namco, right? So they don't have every single like Jump title or whatever, but they have a lot of them, right? They have the big ones. So my speculation is that they have this license, and so there could be like contractual obligations where they are obligated to, to publish the games on as many platforms as they can. Is maybe what I'm thinking. So these games that are apparently they're not, the Switch is not strong enough to run them, then suddenly they just turn up, like a year later or whatever. I think the releasing the game on another platform maybe extends that license, because if in order to maintain the license they have to keep making games. So I think maybe it extends the time or something, and so that's why they just like, oh, okay, we'll do the x86, we do all x86 ones together and then do Switch separately, because it's a different architecture, right, from Xbox, PS and PC. It's a different architecture, so that maybe they do it separate, but they do make them, and the fact that they come out within a year means that they basically start development of the port as soon as it's released or even before. So they plan to do that. So, but what they'll do is they will release certain things, but they won't release like Bandai Namco Studios. So they have an actual studio which is called Bandai Namco Studios, right? And they nothing from there they will release on Switch. But then they have other studios and other games where they will just release de facto exclusives on Switch. So it's not even like, oh, they don't want to release any game. It's like they have some weirdo policy of like, this studio releases games, but this one doesn't, and this one releases some things and this one doesn't. So, but yeah, this is Bandai Namco and their weirdness, really. So yeah, One Piece Odyssey, not be surprised this turns up within a year. And it is dumb to do that, because we saw what happened to Demon Slayer. Demon at the time that game came out, was it October 21? Was it October? It was October 21, right? Demon Slayer was hot. Don't forget, the movie had just come out that summer. The first season had just concluded. It was the first season, and then we had the movie. There was like Demon Slayer mania. People were going crazy. They were going crazy, dressing up. They had real life trains in Japan. There was nonsense. People running around with a what's this thing that they wear? Kofi's here. Kofi will know. Genki's not here. He couldn't make it today. What's that coat that they wear? Is it a happy? Not a happy. Anyway, people running around with the green checkered coats and all this. Yeah. So that happened, and then the sales of the game were underwhelming. People were like, what happened there? Why is it? Well, that's what I'm imagining that Sega and Aniplex were doing. It was like, oh no, what's happened? Oh no. So they must have hit the emergency port to Switch button, because the game turned up in 9 months. That's fast for a port, right? It turned up in 9 months. Now, unfortunately, it missed all that marketing from, before. They had a huge marketing campaign. So, unfortunately, it missed out on that and the sort of the hype from the movie. But it still sold a lot. It still sold like 100k, something like that. So, it kind of like almost doubled the sales of the initial release. So, yeah. So, with One Piece, basically, there's a movie that just came out, One Piece Red, right? And they're going into like the final arc or something of the. So One Piece fans can tell me. I don't know, because I've never watched One Piece. I've never watched a single episode. I've never read it. I don't know anything about One Piece other than that it's about pirates. I don't know anything about that show. So so they're the final arc of the manga, and it's like the 25th anniversary of the manga. So there's a lot of hype, but the game underperformed. There's no way this game should have sold under 100k with the hype of that. So yeah, that is its Bandai Namco's policy. And like I had people come into my Twitch and say, "Oh, the Switch, it can't run. It's just not there. It's because it can't run it." And I was like, "Oh God, this again." We'll go through this song and dance, and it's like, oh well, they would have to do this. It's gonna take a lot of time and work and do this. I said, it's not us to worry about that. Bandai Namco is huge and they have a lot of money. Okay, they're like I said, when I say they're big, they're valued much higher than the other quote unquote big Japanese publishers. They're worth way more than like Square Enix and they, like, you can put Square Enix and Capcom together and I think they're worth more. So they're huge and they have the money and resources to do it. They just don't want to do it. They just haven't like set up their development pipeline to have day and date releases on the Switch. So that's like their actual choice that they've made to do that. So that's why the game underperformed. And unfortunately, what's happened is the PlayStation software sales are like in kind of like free fall when it comes to like the legs that a game will have. It's unfortunately it's getting worse. So, and like for the PlayStation 4, right, and the PlayStation 5 hasn't been able to make up the numbers for that thus far. It's just PlayStation 4's dropping, or getting Thanos snapped, as Genki says, getting Thanos snaps every year. The percentage of software sales is getting Thanos snapped every year, in half every year, and the PS5 hasn't been able to make up for it. So we're in a situation where it's like 90% of software sales are Switch, because PlayStation 5 hasn't been able to make up for it. If you look at PlayStation 4, in like when it was in the same like life or amount of hardware sales as a PlayStation 5, you were getting games selling over 100k, and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's not happening with PlayStation 5. So yeah, so that's what's it's a very strange situation with Bandai, where they will, on the one hand, make some, like, just make no one's asking them to make these de facto exclusives, but they're just making these games for Switch, and then other games they just won't put on there. And it's not because the game could not be made to run on Switch, it's because they don't want to do it. Is the reason. Because some games will turn up and some won't, and it's like kind of like become consistent now as to which studios they'll put them on and which ones they won't. And the ones they won't do it is Bandai Namco Studios. They won't put those games on there at all. The anime games do turn up after around a year, something like that. They'll turn up. Solid Python says, I just find it funny that right now Bandai released Sword Art Online. It's already Sword Art Online, right? Like Chorus on Switch recently and still advertise it, and at the same time they announced a new Sword Art Online game on the other platform. This is the nonsense I'm talking about, right? Doesn't make sense. So I didn't even know this, right? Because Sword Art Online. I watched the first season of that like years ago, and then like the second season, that show got weird. It dropped off, man. I saw that online. I ain't be watching that. That show, man. That show dropped off hard. Anyway, so there was a game. So I guess this like chorus one you're talking about is a port of an older game, and there's a brand new one. Yeah. So this brand new one you're talking about, that will turn up in like a year or two after this release. This is what they do. They do release them on Switch, but just late. So it's not. So it's if it couldn't run on Switch, as people claim, they wouldn't release them there at all, right? And like I said before, it's not for us to worry about how they're gonna make. It's gonna be difficult. It's gonna cost them a lot of money. Who cares? That's their problem. They need to deal with that. I don't care. Yeah. Game Killer, welcome. Hi. It's unfortunate. Why wait until after the huge Demon Slayer hype died down to release on Switch? Well, you think maybe they learnt their lesson now that the Demon Slayer fans were on Switch. Basically, that game was in the charts for a long time. It's definitely sold on over 100k. I haven't checked it recently, but it's it basically caught up because there was a PlayStation 5 and a PlayStation 4 version. I think it sold the same as the PlayStation 4 version, and the PlayStation 5 version sold about 20k or something like that, just a little bit over 20k, something like that. Game Killer says, at this point, I really bother double dipping on games. I just got One Piece and Demon Slayer on my PS5 recorder today. I'd like it on Switch, but I'm not going to wait for it. Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I did buy the Demon Slayer game when it came out on PlayStation 5. I didn't play it very much. I should go back to it, but One Piece. I'm not seeing One Piece, so I'm not going to buy that game if I don't, know anything. And apparently, it's like I think it's kind of an original story, but it would occur somewhere in the middle of this story. It's like if you're new to it, you might not necessarily know what is going on, but it's kind of an original story, so you kind of can follow it, I think. But yeah, as I don't know any of the characters or anything, yeah, I'm not gonna get the game. And apparently, it's from the reviews I've seen, it's kind of mid. So yeah, it's not for me. Timor said, I've only watched episode 1 of One Piece for kids dub. You just watched episode 1 and that was it. You called it a day. It's just like, nah, I'm out. I don't like this. You didn't like it, Timor? You didn't watch episode 1? Would you go back to it? Game Killer, exactly. If the 4 kids dub is worth the watch, besides that, One Piece is peak entertainment. Is it? Is it good? Yeah, the reason why I haven't gone in and watched that is it's just too intimidating, man. It's over 1,000 episodes. Like it's over 1,000 episodes. I got time. I do watch different anime, but like I watch ones where like ones that are airing now or they're shorter. I have watched some long ones, like fairly long ones. Like I watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, although not the very latest season. The I think it's Stone Ocean. Yeah, that one's on. It's really weird because I think only Netflix has the rights to the brand new season. But if you want to watch the season with what's his name? Giovanni? His name's Giovanni, right? The Italian one. Anyway, if you want to watch that season, it's that season's. I think it's only on Crunchyroll. Luckily I do have Netflix and Crunchyroll. I do have more than one streaming service, so I can watch this. And there's actually, I didn't know this, right? But there's actually like a spin-off with that Kishibe guy, the mangaka. There's a spin-off that's only on Netflix, like a 4-episode spin-off. I've watched a couple episodes. Did we get like a subscription? Let me see. Wait, I can shout you out. Oh, Solid Python 2099. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much. Did an alert come up when that subscribed? I just heard something, but I didn't see it. So yeah, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, so there's a Kishibe spin-off on Netflix. Oh, there we go. There's a little panda. Well, I can see it now on the stream. Yeah, that I didn't know existed, but that spin-off is on Netflix. So yeah. Sorry, just taking a drink. If anyone wants to come on the show, if anyone wants to come on with me, so I'm here by myself, please let me know. And you can, I'm gonna get the Discord invite here. Join the Discord and wait in the waiting room voice chat. Right, there's a waiting. Oh, hang on. Yes, there's a waiting room voice chat. Boom. So come in there and then I'll add you in. Okay, shall we get into these hardware sales? Now, where's the thing? Right, here we go. It looks like I'm prepared, doesn't it? I'm not as prepared as you think. I'm not. Okay. Oh, maybe I've made it too big now. Let's fit on this. Get rid of this thing. Don't ask me this. Okay. Oh, maybe I made it too big. Oh, damn. 200% too big. We need to see it on the screen. So here's the hardware sales. And Nintendo Switch sold 51,587. Now this is down significantly from last week. It's like 23,000 drop. And if we look at the breakdown between OLED Lite and the regular Switch, it seems like it's the OLED that... So excuse me, I'm drinking like gassy like energy drinks, if you can hear me, but yeah, so it's the OLED that drops, and that's like the most popular one. So yeah, that's dropped down a lot. Now this time of year you normally see the hardware drop, everything drops, like right, because it's like following the holidays, and then like the New Year's holiday, which is like the biggest holiday in Japan. Basically, they all use their New Year's money to, they spend all their, everyone spends their, like kids get New Year's money, right? So they spend that anyway. They spend it all at the beginning of the year, so it'll be spent. So that's why everything drops like that. It happens every year. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with Switch. If it probably won't drop further, but if it drops further, or if it stays like this, or I don't know. But I'm anticipating that the total hardware for Switch for 2023 will drop from last year, because the Switch is, you know, it's like 6 years. It's selling like listen, this is the thing to understand. It's for how old the system is. It's selling really well, because you do the other, if you look back at other systems of like where they were in their 6th year, it wasn't like this at all. It wasn't like this. Yeah. So then we have PlayStation 5 with 42,000. Now this is almost on par with last week. It's only a couple of thousand below. So this sort of is reinforcing my 40k baseline hypothesis that I have. So what I'm hoping, or what I think, is that maybe there's going to be a 40,000 baseline now for PlayStation 5, because you can see that last year it was selling like 18,000, right? So it's more than doubled. It's more than doubled that. So maybe that will stay at around 40,000. We'll have to see. Now, the unfortunate thing is that this is, even though it's sold 42,000, the software is just not going up at all. There's just been no There's been no improvement in the software sales at all. And you'd think if it's selling far more, that the software sales would go up. Especially if we look at the PlayStation 5, we can see that of the 42,000 that sold, 38,602 were it's just a PlayStation 5. This just means it's just the version with the disc drive, the regular one. And then 3.5 thousand were the digital edition, right? So yeah, so you like most of the PlayStation 5s that sell in Japan are the disc drive version. So so I basically I think it's the scalping is still going on a lot. It hasn't stopped at all. It hasn't even gone. I don't even think it's gone down really that much. So the resale price of PlayStation 5s within Japan has gone down, and it's like almost the same as like the retail price, right? If you check on Mercari or what's it called, Yahoo auctions or something like that, the price has gone right down, and it's almost the same as the retail price. But because the yen is really weak, it's still a lot cheaper to buy a PlayStation 5 in Japan than anywhere else. So what happens? They still getting bought up, and they're being shipped out to China primarily. Is the main place where they're going. They're turning up in other places as well, but China's the main place because the official PlayStation 5s they sell there. They are region locked because the Chinese government they control a lot of stuff, right? As you know, everyone here probably knows. So it's like it has this region lock restriction on it. So the grey market exists where a lot of PlayStation 5s from other places are imported, and they are region free. As you know, PlayStation 5 is region free. But apparently the Chinese one there is a way to make it region free. I think what it is, it's just the average person that either they don't know how to do that, or they don't care. It's like more convenient to get one of these region free ones, even though it means they forfeit the what do you call it, like the warranty or whatever, it's like maybe 1 or 2 years warranty guarantee on it or something like that. So you forfeit that, right, because you're getting a version that's not from the region. But I think that's the reason. What's going on there? So PlayStation 4, this is like a kind of strange situation where it was like almost a lot of people, I thought it was completely discontinued, but apparently not. Apparently they've manufactured a few more, or they had a few more, probably manufactured a few more. I don't think they were sitting around in warehouses, but anyway, there's more that's turned up. But the PlayStation 4 is obviously right at the end of its life, so it will probably, there might be like a few more months of it selling a few thousand, but it's not for much longer. So it sold 2,500. Now the Xbox Series consoles we can talk about, because what's happened is Xbox has dropped off hard, like really hard. Like there were some weeks last year where it was selling 7,000, 10,000. There was even like a 16,000 week, which I think was the highest other than launch week. And then it dropped off like towards the end of last year, was when it was going down to like a couple of thousand and 1,000, and like it just hasn't come back up. Now a lot of people have had kind of theories around this. My one was that, okay, maybe Famitsu, which is where their status from, the organisation, or they're like a media outlet, they're a magazine and everything as well, that they were kind of course correcting their sales for over tracking the Xbox Series consoles, because the Media Create organisation, their tracking for Xbox was like 50% lower than what we see here. It's 50%, so we see the total is 400,000. Yeah, so it's like around 200,000 on the Media Create charts, which is a huge discrepancy. It is a little bit of discrepancy. You know, they're not, obviously the numbers don't all match up, so there'll be a little bit of discrepancy, but that discrepancy is like an outlier. So I thought maybe they're course correcting, but it could be that also that. So the other thing it could have been was that Microsoft was sending far less, which they always do, like, and around the holidays. They don't prioritize Japan. Japan is not prioritized at all for anything. So they prioritize the United States, obviously, and other regions. So the sales drop off, but they haven't got back up this year. So it could be, or what some other people are saying, another theory is that just demand has been met. That because now the PlayStation 5 is now, you know, almost widely available in Japan, that people were buying, maybe some people buying Xbox as an alternative to a PlayStation because they couldn't get it, because they wasn't able to get one. So yeah, so those are some ideas as to why it's dropped off like this. So, you know, we've got 3 different things there. I think now we're getting out of that, like, that we're past that kind of holiday sales period. So I don't think it's that. I feel like, you know, it's enough time that they could have sent more. Now we'll have to see, maybe it will increase, but if it stays like this, then yeah, it could really be that's like the demand has been met, or it's now that this is like the true sales or whatever. So it's something like that. I'm actually not entirely sure if anyone has any kind of their own theories as whatever they think that's happened to the Xbox Series consoles in Japan. Please let me know. You can drop a comment in the chat, or if anyone wants to come on the show, you can come on. I'm free. So yeah, so there's the sales. I've got, hang on, can I show it on here, the chart with the Xbox chart. Right, so this is on install base forum, so you can see what's happened. Can I move this? Hang on, I might actually have to make this slightly smaller so it fits. Okay, you can see this a little bit, right? So Xbox family hardware sales, and so actually I might make it smaller because it really isn't fitting, is it? Can I do that? That kind of fits now, right? So you have here the yellow line is Xbox Series consoles, and then you have the blue line, which is the original Xbox, right? So the green line is that's Xbox One. You can see it flatlined in Japan, right? So yeah, so you can see what's happening. It was about to meet the sales. It would have met them already if it stayed on the same course. The original Xbox sales, the Series consoles would have met the original Xbox like a few weeks back, right? But it kind of like went like that. So this situation's been for a while now. It will go up eventually because it is going up, but it looks like it's going to take longer to meet the sales of the original Xbox, right? And the red line is the 360, so that's like way up. I think the 360 sold around 1.6 million in Japan. So I'm thinking that the Xbox Series consoles are not going to sell 360 levels. I don't think that's happening any longer. It seemed like it could have been possible earlier on, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But it will meet the original Xbox. It's just going to take a bit longer. It might take, gosh, I don't know what's happened there. It depends if it goes up. So it might take a few more months if it's still selling at like just 1,000 a week, right? So who knows? I don't know what's going on there. Let me look at. Oh yeah, I had that open because I was going to show that trailer. I'm going to see if I can show that trailer. Let's take a look at these comments. So Solid Python says, much smaller this is my point! Much smaller Koei Tecmo releases multi-platform games on Switch day and date. Bandai got no excuse. Exactly! Thank you, Solid Python. How Koei Tecmo be releasing Atelier Ryza and all these games like day and date on Switch, and then Bandai, they can't do it. They haven't got the resources. No. They can't make these games run on Switch. Look at those Atelier games. They don't look they look around what the, like, visually or whatever. It looks kind of like the one. I mean, it's different, slightly different art style and everything, but they're not like technical showpieces that are any more, you know, are not really that demanding. They're like turn-based games, kind of like the One Piece game. There's no way that One Piece game would not be able to run on Switch. So how Koei Tecmo managing to do it? As I said, Koei Tecmo are smart. Because they saw what was happening with the Japanese market. They're like, oh crap, we need to build up an audience on Switch because the PlayStation sales were dropping off so hard. And so they released a whole, I've said this before, but we'll see it again, they released a whole back catalogue of games, of those Atelier games on Switch in like collections. And then they started day and date, and it went from, you know, the PlayStation version selling more, then the Switch version went up, and then it was like almost this, like, it was pretty close last time. And I think this one coming up is a possibility that Atelier Ryza 3 will sell more on Switch. Now, there's reasons why it hasn't gone up. It has gone up gradually, right? So if they didn't put out Switch version, those would have all been lost sales. They wouldn't have been additional sales on PlayStation. But what they do with those games is that if you have the previous games on the, I don't know if they do it on Switch, but I'm saying on the PlayStation, if you have the previous game saves data, you get like these in-game bonuses, like cosmetics, outfits and things in the next game you buy. So it makes people more, you know, reluctant to switch, no pun intended, and, you know, it takes time to, if you have games that have been released on the platform, it takes time to build up an audience. So the audience they've built up on the Switch is a gain, because this PlayStation sales would have dropped off anyway, because it's happened with everything. So it's you know, to their benefit. But yeah, so how can Koei Tecmo can do it and they're way smaller? Bandai can't. As I said, it's just a choice that they've made. You know, it's not whether the games can run or they can't. They have more than have the resources. Bandai's huge and they've got a lot of money. So Game Killer says, I didn't first season of SOA, or you didn't like it, but after that it felt like a cheap dot hack. I've never seen dot hack either, or I haven't played the games. Yeah, so saw that online. I know about all that. I ain't be what it went into some, anyway. I'm getting, he went into some weirdo. Man, I ain't about all that weirdo stuff that was going on in that show. I know about all that. Timo says, I've watched the Pokemon anime. The first 700. How many episodes are there? I only watched like the Pokemon anime back in the day. I haven't watched that in like 20 years. So I know people are still like really into it and all of that. You know, maybe I'll go back and watch it. But they do have the old episodes on Netflix, and I did see a few of them, and it is a wild nostalgia trip to go and watch those old Pokemon episodes. It's wild. Kofi says, I'm about 2 episodes behind. One Piece is one of the is it? Is one of the greatest animes? Is that true? Am I missing out? Do I need to be watching it? I don't know about these 1,000 episodes though, Kofi. I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's a big commitment, you know. And I'm watching other anime, like I'm watching like ones that are, what do you call it? Like they call it like simulcast, when you, like, new ones are coming out on Crunchyroll. New ones are coming out. So I got a couple that I'm watching Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro. I'm watching what's the other one? There's one called Trigun Stampede, which is I think it might be even a remake. It's kind of weird. It's like a CG animated one. I'm watching Ranking of Kings. That's really good actually. Ranking of Kings. And what's the other one I'm watching? I'm watching Tomo-chan is a Girl. That's a new one. And something else. Oh, I'm gone blank now. Oh, I started watching this one called Hoi Mia. So yeah, I've gotten into these like slice of life and comedy, and I ain't watching only like shonen anime. I know it's kind of like one of the most like a lot of the shonen anime, the popular ones. I do watch them, but I'm kind of getting into other stuff as well. Thank you, Pa. Oh, I'm afraid I can't pronounce the second name. Pa. Please tell me how to pronounce that. It's NJIE. I'm afraid I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for your subscription, Pa. Welcome. So yeah, I'm watching that. Ranking of Kings is really good actually. I recommend that. And I recently watched Chainsaw Man. That one's ended now. It was only 12 episodes. It was like really short. It was only 12 episodes. So yeah, that was really good. It's really nicely animated, I'd say. Really nice. I think it's the same studio that does like Attack on Titan, which I am way behind on. I've only watched like the first 2 seasons of Attack on Titan. Let's see here. Solar Python says, weren't there videos of tons of scalpers in Japan still banned at PS5 stock recently? Yes. Solar Python, if you're not following me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I have updates on that, but I haven't had the chance to tweet out about it. But I have more evidence, overwhelming evidence of the true scale of the scalping in Japan, and I'm gonna tweet. I'll see if I can get it up today. So I found some stuff. Game Killer 64. I think the most interesting is how well the swole. I love it when it's written like that. Swolled. The swolled. I love it when it's written like that. The OLED. I know it's a Switch OLED, but it's the swolled. I love that. It's selling compared to the OG Switch and Lite. I wonder if worldwide the swolled is the most popular of the 3. I think it might be. I don't think Nintendo gives like worldwide breakdown. I think they just group it all together and just give the worldwide. I don't think they give. Do they give breakdowns? Does anyone know if they actually give any breakdowns? I don't know if they do. I would imagine the situation is probably the same worldwide, but I don't know. I don't have any data or evidence of that. If anyone does, even if you have some anecdotal evidence for me, please let me know. I'll have to ask someone that's knows about. So maybe I'll ask Benji Sales because he works in retail. Game Killer 64. Xbox situations just seems like too little, too late. The Xbox library within the first 2 years didn't grab the market, so people are done with them. Yeah. I don't know what they are doing now or coming. I don't know if their games coming up will grab a lot of people. I mean, some people in Japan, obviously. But it's Xbox is like really niche there. Is my understanding. So I think it's like people that are in the know, because Microsoft doesn't do like widespread marketing campaigns in Japan for Xbox. Genki spoke about this before, that they just don't advertise it a lot. And it's not because they can't, it's just they choose not to. I think I think they don't think it's worth the investment, would be my guess, to do like widespread, like, like TV ads and like street level billboards, like billboards and stuff like that, right? So you don't see that in Japan for Xbox. They could do, but they don't. So yeah, there's. We're gonna talk about Hi-Fi Rush in a second, but as for the upcoming games, I think the one that people in Japan would be most interested in would be Starfield, would be my guess, because what's it called? Skyrim sold well in Japan. But the thing you have to remember is that it sold well on PlayStation, right? So it doesn't mean just because it sold well on PlayStation that all those people are going to migrate and go and buy it on Xbox. It just doesn't work like that. You know, people have to want the hardware and then also want or be interested in the other games available there. So even if it's like, oh, it's on a subscription program and you can do this, and they might not do it. Now, maybe some people will do the cloud gaming thing. My understanding is that the Xbox cloud gaming isn't popular there either, even though it's there, it's available. It's not like people are like subscribing to Game Pass and then like, oh, I'm just going to play these games, I'm playing everything on my phone. Again, I think it just doesn't work like that, because you know, the cloud gaming, like, you have to have like an unlimited data plan and everything. And although the internet and the 5G and everything's pretty good in Japan, it doesn't mean that it's at a price where everyone can just like be streaming games and they've got money to do that. You know what I mean? It's still, you know, could be pricey, would be my guess. And yeah, so the reason I don't think that the Xbox game streaming is that popular is because there's an app in order to do it on your phone, which is what they're aiming for, or what they want to appeal to in Japan. You need to use this app, right? So you could do it through the browser, but who's going to do that, right? It's a faff, and it's not going to be as good as using the app, the native app. So there's an app that you can use on Android, I think. Yeah, that's another issue. The fact that the app, I think it's not on iOS as like a native stream. There's not a native app where you can stream on Apple. That's an issue in Japan because Apple is far more popular in Japan than Android. I think the market is like over 60% Apple there. So that's the other thing. So yeah, so I haven't recently looked at it since last year, but when I looked at the download charts, the app download charts for Japan, you can just, this is a website you can go on to and just like look by region, and then you can see like different entertainment apps. So for example, like the Netflix app or the Disney Plus app, or you know, you can see those in the chart. And so obviously if people are downloading those a lot and using those a lot, they're downloading a lot because they're using it. Well, there's no Xbox game streaming app in that chart, so that means it's not popular enough to get on there. Yeah, so that's what I think. I haven't checked it recently. Maybe it's on there. I don't think so though. I'm sorry if you can hear me. That's just me accidentally hitting the desk. Yeah, it's this new mic I've got. It's pretty sensitive. If you haven't seen this new mic, it's a fat blue Yeti. It's called a Blue Yeti microphone. I invested in a microphone because I do this, and then I also do like I do D&D. I play D&D every Saturday. That's on my friend's Twitch channel. We play Dungeons and Dragons. And I was just using my old, like, my over-ear headphones, like those Pokemon ones. It's They were like £20 Pikachu. They're really cool though, but they're like, it's got a cheap mic on it. So I was like, do you know what? I've been doing that for 2 years, and then I'm doing this podcast and stuff. So let me actually invest and get like a decent. This is a startup microphone, right? It cost me about £90. It's not like a super professional one or anything, but it's a good starter microphone. A Game Killer says, if Xbox really has a strong 2023, which I'm hoping for, it'll be interesting if it changes in Japan. It'll be very interesting, yeah. I'm really curious to see what will happen with that. Yeah. Okay. Son Python says, I feel like this is a situation with Xbox worldwide right now. For the past 2 years, they've been feeding people with nothing but promises of games, and games still haven't arrived, lol. Yeah. I mean, it's... Yeah, so yeah, even if we're not just talking about just Xbox in Japan, but just Xbox in general, they have had some problems and some issues with getting out games in a timely fashion. So they have a lot of games announced, but unfortunately, we haven't really even seen a lot of those games. So maybe I think maybe they have some management. There's maybe some management issues, you know, with what's going on, and there's been like reports or issues with 434, the developer of Halo. Anyway, yeah, and there was like a lot of layoffs at Microsoft recently, and some people, or apparently quite a lot of people from that studio were laid off. So it's Xbox in general, and you could say that this is the year that they're going to turn it around, right, with the lineup of games they have coming up, which includes Starfield, Redfall, Forza. There's a new Forza, right? Forza Motorsport. So that's 3 games for sure, because they was in the showcase the other day. There's 3 games for sure that they said are coming out this year. And then there's rumours of maybe what's it called again? What is that game called made by Ninja Theory? You know when your mind just goes blank and what's it called? That game with the woman that has like schizophrenia or something. Why can't I remember the name of that? You know what I'm talking about. Good Lord, my mind's gone blank. How can I not remember what that's called? Anyway, that game, the second one of that. Hellblade. Is Hellblade? It's Hellblade, right? Oh my God. Is Hellblade? Yeah. Hellblade. I don't know why I can't remember the name. Yeah, so there's rumours that one might come out, and there's rumours that Perfect Dark might come out. Now, I don't know about all that. That's just rumours. That's not... Xbox hasn't said that those ones are coming out. Because that would be a huge lineup if those were coming out as well. So I kind of doubt that, to be honest with you. But certainly if those ones that I said before come out, then that would be good. Like I said, I think that not Forspoken, oh my God, when I say Forspoken, Starfield would be the one that would have the most appeal in Japan. We'd have to see, like, is Xbox actually going to advertise it? That's the problem, the lack of advertising there. And then yeah, worldwide, it's just the same issue, like getting the games out. So I was over on Benji Cell's chat yesterday modding, and he basically said, oh, I know they say that every year, but I really do feel like this is the year that stuff's gonna come out. And okay, I just have to we just have to wait and see, right? Sod Python, we just have to wait and see. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know, but will it be this year? I'll have to see whether Starfield comes up and whether it lives up to people's expectations. People have high expectations of Starfield. So, Game Killer 64, Ranking of Kings is amazing. Haven't watched the new Trigon, the original series, but the but the original series is great. So I heard, is this a series from like the 90s or something like that? The new one is pretty good. It's only been like 3 episodes, right? And like I said, it's CGI animation. It's 3D animation, but it's done in an anime style, right? And it's okay. The character design is nice. The voice acting is, yeah, it's pretty good. I always listen to the Japanese. I don't know. I gather there is a dub, but I haven't listened to that. But the Japanese is yeah, it's, it's decent voice acting. And so I was like, oh, okay. It kind of reminds me though, with this with it being 3D animation, it kind of reminded me of like the early days of, this is what I was thinking, I didn't even know this thing was from the 90s until the other day, but it reminded me of the early days of CGI animation that like Disney and stuff would do, where they would add like CGI into, like, they added it into, like, they had it in Beauty and the Beast, right, and like I think Aladdin and stuff like that, and they made like that, do you remember Treasure Planet? Does anyone remember Treasure Planet? Do you remember that? That was Disney, right? Didn't that flippity flop hard? Treasure Planet, do you remember that? Where like, because CGI, because it was so new, they're showing it off and they're doing these like swooping shots and it's doing action and stuff popping off and like that. So there were some scenes that kind of reminded me of like the early days of, not in a bad way, right? But just like, oh look, we're showing it off. It's 3D. Look, it's 3D. It's like, it reminded me of that type of thing. But so far it's good. It's like, it was really slow though, the first couple of episodes. But in the 3rd episode, they introduced let's just say the antagonist. It seems to be the main antagonist, and I thought the introduction was really impressive of that character. So yeah, I didn't even know there was. I just read about it yesterday. Oh, it's like a remake of a 90s thing. I was like, oh, okay, I never heard of this before. Yeah, Ranking the Kings is really good. The Ranking of Kings, I watched that blind. I didn't even know what it was about. I just heard friend of mine say, oh, it's good. They said, oh, we watched this Ranking of Kings, and I had no idea what it was about. But watching it, it's really good. I haven't got that. I don't know how far I am into it. I'm not sure. It's really good. It's not what I expected, actually, and I don't know if I'm just like really soppy or something, but like it made me cry a couple of times. I'm not gonna front. I cried a couple of times at that show. So yeah, it's really good. It's really good. The main character, Bodhi, is really cute. So it's a good show. Pa, yeah, let's just call you Pa. Yeah, say Pa. Agree? We say that. You're welcome. Thank you for the subscription. Thank you. J2 Blue says Ranking of Kings is dope, but I still need to watch the rest. Oh, did you just like start watching it but you didn't finish it? Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's actually really good. I can't even like I don't want to spoil it for people, obviously. But like I went into that just not even knowing what it was about. I just knew it was something to do with like kings or something, and then the kid in the the artwork they were showing, he's got a crown and it said he's a king, right? So I didn't ever know what it was about, but having watched it, it's really good. Game Killer says, I haven't had the best luck with cloud gaming myself. I do like Game Pass as a service, but unfortunately I don't get much out of it. I'll just do it for a month when a new game is out and unsubscribe. Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's a solid strategy. I think people do that with Netflix as well, or something like they'll be like they'll drop a season of like Stranger Things or something, and people just subscribe for 1 month and then just binge it. And I think that's an issue that Netflix is having actually with I think their subscribers have gone down, or they haven't grown, or so they're having kind of issues, right? They need to do kind of like what HBO does, and they're just like releasing one episode at a time. I think HBO has always done that, and you can see with like the Last of Us show that they have now that it's really working because people are constantly talking about it, and obviously they did it with Game of Thrones, and then the Game of Thrones I think it's called House of the Dragon. I haven't seen that. where it keeps people constantly talking about it, right? And, oh yeah, the new episode and da da da. So yeah, that's what happens, and it just word of mouth kind of more advertises and perpetuates it, so that the Last of Us show is enjoying extremely good ratings and viewing figures, which I think HBO did announce it's like their most. I think it was the most watched debut episode, and then the second episode had the most like growth of new or something. I can't remember what the exact thing was. Anyway, it's like the most ever in their history or whatever, which is really impressive. That means I think it's like more than Game of Thrones for like a first episode or something like that. Yeah, excuse me, just drinking. So yeah, so they need to do something like that. But anyway, I kind of went off the track. You don't get much out of it. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, that's fair. There's no point in paying for something that's not of value to you. So if there's like a game you want, then subscribe, play the game, and you can unsubscribe. I mean, there's no point wasting money. Is there something that's fair? Marcy Mouse. Hi Mouse. Nice to see you here. Marcy Mousey says, having used the browser verisimilitude? I've never heard of that. Verisimilitude. And the app. I prefer the app version, actually. Where is that browser, Mousey? I've never heard of that. Is that pretty good? For streaming? You mean for game streaming? It's pretty good? And the app. We prefer the app version. Right, okay. Let's see what we have here. Spencer's here. Spencer Presley. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good evening. I don't think if Genki was here, it would be evening for him. But he is not here. He's busy today. Thank you for coming through, Spencer. How are you doing? Mousy says, the browser version, not the app version. I hate my phone. You hate your phone? What phone do you have? What phone? I need a new phone. My phone is out. It's like, you know when your phone is just literally on its last legs. It's on its last legs. Like the battery on my thing. There's no point me paying to have a new battery in this phone because it's crap when I bought it. It's a crappy phone. Do not get these Nokias. The new Nokias you get now are not like the Nokias from back in. They're not the same. Do not get them. Don't get it. Don't be a dummy like me and think, oh, I know, I'll get a £300 Nokia in 2019. So don't do it. Oh, it's crap. It's really crap. J2 Blue says Starfield could be good, but I don't know because it's Bethesda Game Studios. Aren't their games normally good though? I mean, I know like they're buggy. Is that what you mean? Like the bugs? And people say, Hellblade! It's Hellblade! I'm sorry! I couldn't, my mind went blank. I couldn't remember it was cool. You know when that just happens and it's just like, I know what this thing is, but it's just like, my head is blank. I can't remember. I don't know, but I got there at the end. Hellblade. Thank you. Katana Riku! Hello! Sup chat, Jodie and Genki. Genki's not here. It's just me today. Thank you for coming through. Nice to see you. If everyone could please hit that like button. I know a lot of you have. Thank you very much. J2 Blue says, I think Hellblade 2 is at least 2024. Yeah. I mean, probably, to be honest. I don't feel like it's coming this year, to be honest with you. It's possible, but I doubt it. And J2 Blue says, Treasure Planet is going. You remember Treasure Planet? Treasure Planet, yes, I'm not dreaming. That was an actual film. It's based on the Treasure Islands, right? But they're in space for whatever reason. Spaceship. I haven't seen that film for decades, but I watched it back in the day, and it was like the kind of, more early CGI, where I think the environments and like the ships and everything were like CG, but weren't the characters like cel shaded? Was it like that? I think it wasn't fully 3D. It was like some of it was 3D, something like that. Game Killer. Studio Orange is doing that new Trigon series, and it's great with CGI animation. Oh, really? Okay, so they've done other series before that were CGI. Yeah, because I haven't seen that many CGI anime other than Beastars? The CGI Beastars. I don't know if anyone's seen that one on Netflix. Actually, I need to go back and watch season 2 of that one. I know the second season came out. Beastars is 3D. Oh no, and I saw there was another one. Arjun wasn't that 3D CGI? Arjun? That was another Netflix anime. Has anyone seen that one? I know there was another one where there was a second season and I didn't go back to it. Not because it's bad or anything, just because stuff was going on. I just forgot that there was a second season. I'd have to go back and watch it from the beginning now because it's like years ago. But I believe that one was. I haven't seen that many. There isn't that many, but yeah, it's pretty good. But it does have that kind of like 90s, like, oh, look at CG type thing. And then Genki says the public wasn't ready for the advances of the planet. They were not ready for that, because this was like, had the Pixar movies weren't big at that point, right? From what I remember. And that game, and I think they spent a lot of money on that game. I mean that film. I think they spent a lot of money on it, for the CGI at that time was extremely expensive. And I think that's why it flopped. And and I'm sure everyone here remembers The Spirits Within, the film that made Squaresoft go bankrupt, and they had to get bought by Enix. Remember that film? Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within. I saw that film, and I could not make heads or tails of what was going on. Game Killer, episode 2 of Ranking of Kings had me crying. Wasn't expected to hit me hard. Yes, thank you, Game Killer. Right, that show, I was crying. I was like, what the? I'm trying not to swear. I was like, yo, I didn't know this show was like this. I was like, yo, yeah, it was really amazing. I was not expecting what went down, and I wasn't expecting that. You can't tell. This is the thing with some of these shows. You can't tell just by looking at the art style what is going to be going down. So I don't know if anyone here has seen Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss. The art style does not tell you how that show's going to go down, okay? Because the way that show goes down is, the art style is cutesy. That's another show I need to go. The reason why I didn't go back to that one, because I really like that, is because I watched the first season, but then so there was a movie. One movie is just like one of those ones where they just edit down the episodes, but they had an actual like continuation of the story movie, right? And I couldn't find anywhere to get access to that and watch it or download it already. I'll look again. It's not on any streaming services available to me, so I'll have to look at other means. I think we all know what we're talking about. How about summertime rendering? I'm sorry, I'm not subscribing to Disney Plus for summertime with the one anime. I'm not doing it. Summertime rendering is certain extra legal means that we can use to. It's that one's some of these shows, they've been locked in Disney Plus jail. You gotta free them. You know what I'm saying? J2 Blue says the last. Oh no, hang on. I'm getting for that. Okay, Katana Riku, The Last of Us HBO slaps. Do you know what, Katana Riku? I really want to watch it, but here's the thing: I haven't played the game. I want to play the game first, before I watch the show. That's the only reason I haven't watched it. I know I could just watch the show. If I don't really like the game, then I might just do that. But I haven't played the game, so I want to try out the game first from the game experience, and then I'll watch the show. JT Blue says Trigun Stampede already has a dub, but it's just a few weeks behind. Right, yeah. They got the original VA from the OG Trigun back for Stampede. Really? Oh, so this is the English voice actor, Johnny Young Bosch. Oh, right, okay. Is he playing the main character? The main character? Yeah, I'm still like a little bit confused because there's only been 3 episodes. We're kind of confused about what's going on with these characters and like their motives and stuff like that. Like what's going on. So yeah. And J2 says, I'm still mad they haven't put Treasure Planet in Kingdom Hearts. Hopefully they'll put it in Kingdom Hearts 4. They will not. Treasure Planet wasn't popular enough for them to put it in there. And because they've already done Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't think they're going to do the Pirates thing again. I think J2, nobody even remembers Treasure Planet. I remember it. How many people out here remember Treasure Planet? They just don't. Unfortunately, it's just like, it's gonna be like one of the least popular Disney movies out there. One of the least popular, right? Yeah, I feel like if they had done like a straight adaptation of Treasure Island, it would have been more popular than what they actually did do with the CGI and them being in space and all that type of thing. Game Killer, I love me some Beast Stars, such an unexpected treat. Yeah, it's good. I really need to watch that 2nd season. J2 says Studio Orange also made Beast Star. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense then. Why it's the CGI? It's the same studio. I didn't know that. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I can see that. Oh right. So is that their whole thing then? They do a lot of CGI 3D. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Trigun Stampede is very, very interesting. The antagonist I thought was really cool. He's not a good dude, but like the way they introduced him and everything was really cool. I really liked that. And JTL says Ranking Kings hit me in the feels, crying emoji. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that because I didn't know what that show was about. I didn't know what it was about. And it's like I was crying. I was like, yo. I was crying. And I cry. I don't know about you, but there's that. You know that what's that character that's oh god, my mind's gone. I can't remember. You know the character that's like that kind of black thing with the 2 eyes. What's it called again? I can't remember. Anyway, they went into that character's backstory and that made me cry as well. That made me cry as well. So yeah. I don't know, man. That show kind of got me. And Bodgy's so cute as well. He's so cute. Timo says I'm more of a Lilo and Stitch fan. Yeah, I did watch. I believe I watched the movie and then there was a show. Kage, that's it. Kage. Yeah. Kage. Yeah, they did his whole backstory. It made me cry. that had me, man. That had me. And that if you see what that character looks like, you're like, hey yo, what is this supposed to be? It's just like goop on the floor. But then you find out like the situation, right? I don't know, it's just like, oh. You kind of have anyway, I'm not gonna go into spoilers. Watch that. Ranking of Kings. I don't know how many episodes I'm in. Not that many. Ranking of Kings. I've gone in. I really don't know how many episodes I've in, but I haven't finished the whole season, the first season. I don't know how many seasons there are. Maybe there only is 1 season. I'm thinking that maybe there's only 1 season. So I think it's a fairly new show. Is that right? Or was it old? I'm not sure. I actually don't know. Maybe it's an old show. It could be years old and there's like loads of seasons. I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. But I'm only like a few episodes in, and that had me in the feels, man. Kage, yeah. The I don't even know what he's supposed to be. Well, they explain what he is, but even when they explain it, I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any. I don't understand. Yeah, Timo says I never saw Treasure Planet. It's kind kind of a classic. It's of its time when it comes to the animation. Okay, with the you'll see it's like that kind of like 90s where we're using CGI. It's so cool, and then we're doing these like panning shots and we're like go flying through and da, da, da. It's like that. But I haven't seen that for years. I have not seen that film for years. I believe I've seen it more than once. I believe I've seen it more than once. So I don't know, I have my phone's going off. What is that? I think someone's tweeting at me. Yeah. So it's that kind of style. So you have to go in knowing that it's kind of some of that CGI is going to look dated, right? But it might be worth going to go look at if you are a Disney fan. I'd say if you are a Disney fan. Game Killer says, I'm not a fan of when an anime series uses a movie as... Oh my god. Game Killer. Don't get me started on this nonsense. Yes! This! What Game Killer's saying! I hate that! I hate it! I'm not a fan of when an anime series uses a movie as canon, because sometimes it's hard to find the movie. I still want to try and Made in Abyss. Yes! Game canon. Oh my god. Game Killer. So, yes, it's so annoying because they did that with Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, we had to wait for that movie, because I think this was when that movie came out. It was COVID times. It's like hardcore COVID times, and then all the cinemas and everything in the UK was closed. They were closed. They were all closed. So we had to wait a long time to get the movie. Eventually, yeah, we got it in the UK, and I did go and see it. I actually went to see it two times. I got to see it. The first time I got to see it for free, actually, because Funimation, who was distributing it in the UK, they did like a premiere, and they were giving away tickets. Basically, it was like a first come first serve thing, and I just was on Twitter and I saw it. I was, SHIT! I'm trying not to say, go and do that now. I told my friend, yo, there's free tickets for IMAX Demon Slayer. Let's go. And then we didn't know. I said, I swear to God, it better not be the dub. It wasn't the dub. It was not the dub. It was subs. It was subs, luckily. So we could, oh no, man. My friend's kind of the same. Like, kind of like, you know, I know people are gonna say, oh, you know, what's the matter? You stupid sub purist. Okay, call me that. Whatever. Actually, you know what? I'm learning Japanese, so I have an excuse for watching the subs one. But it doesn't matter what language it is. I like to hear the original language of whatever I'm watching. I've just always been like that. I've never liked dubs, but that's just me. Oh yeah, and the other they do the other. We're talking about games. We're going off on anime. I'll get back to the games in a bit. The other one they do it was they did it with Made in Abyss. They did Demon Slayer, and there's an anime that I really love called Sasaki Miyano, and that one's doing a movie as well. So who knows when the hell I'm gonna get to watch that. That's releasing next month. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm seeing ads for it, and I'm like, and you know who's making that? Who does it? It's Kadokawa, like one of the biggest like media like things in Japan. Like, and I was like, they can't, and they're not even like putting subtitles. I was like, you have the money to put subtitles on these trailers, and you're not doing it. You Kadokawa. Anyway. JT says it's just one season of 25 episodes, came out in 2021. Okay. It came out in 2021. Okay, so I'm nowhere near those 25 episodes. I've maybe seen 8 or something like that. But I really liked what I've seen so far. Ranking of Kings, it's really good. Mousy. My phone is a good phone, but it hates me. Oh, okay. Alright. Yeah, well, it happens, right? Sailor Moon Crystal is also CGI, and it loves typing stuff I don't want to say. What? Like I never talk about ducks. Mouse, I do not understand what you're saying here. And it loves typing stuff I don't want to say. Like, I never talk about ducks. I don't, I don't understand what you're talking about. If you want to explain what that means, feel free. I've never seen Sailor Moon. Is it worth going and watching Sailor Moon? Is that good? I've never seen it. Mousy Treasure Planet is more popular than Disney's The Great Mouse Detective. Is it? I remember The Great Mouse Detective. I've seen that one as well. Great Mouse Detective. Okay. Caught up on these chats. So let's have a look at this trailer for Hi-Fi Rush. I don't know if this... I'm not sure if this is going to have sound on it that you can hear. So even if there's no sound, you can... Can you hear that? Can you hear it?
Yeah, that's me. And you're probably wondering how I ended up here.
Well, let's skip past this bit.
Music player in my chest. It's powering up my new robot arm. Whoa. It's making everything sync up with the beat. Let's rock. This is awesome! Vanillaware Technologies isn't just coming from my arm. They're after all of us.
So, yeah, so let's turn down the volume now. I don't know if you can hear it anywhere. So this game is made by Tango Gameworks, who are much better known for horror games. They made The Evil Within 1 and 2, and then recently they made you know, I was gonna say Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Not Tokyo Mirage Sessions! They did not make that one. They made Ghostwire Tokyo. That's it. I know it's something Tokyo. Ghostwire Tokyo. Yeah. And so this is a departure, although it's not their first departure from kind of horror. Although Ghostwire Tokyo wasn't really a horror game. It was like spooky, but it was more of like a more like an first person action adventure. I think they even called it an action adventure game. So now I don't have it there here in front of me, but last year, I think it was last year, they, believe it or not, they made a gacha mobile game. They made a gacha mobile game, like an anime style gacha mobile game, like just out of nowhere. They just made this game. That's on mobile. I can't remember what it's called or whatever. It honestly, it wouldn't interest anyone here. It just looks like a typical gacha mobile game. But yeah, it was made by Tango Gameworks, and they also made a visual novel prequel for Ghostwire Tokyo as well. And then I think they're doing maybe another. I think there's rumors of like another visual novel, and then also I don't know why this is also playing nonsense. I don't know what this is. No, I'm not playing you ads. You stop. And then also I think basically Shinji Mikami, who's he founded the studio anyway. I'm sure he's a studio head or whatever. He said that their next game is not going to be horror. It's going to be something else. So about Tango Gameworks, they are better known for those horror games, but The Evil Within 1 and 2 didn't do very well. Really didn't do that well. Although I think they were critically well received, but in terms of sales, they didn't do that well, right? And Ghostwire Tokyo was pretty much a flop. It flopped hard in Japan, and then there was never anything heard about it again. There was no sales figures, nothing, no update, and when that happens, you know a game did not do well. So I think that may have been a worldwide flop. It didn't do that well in the charts. If someone maybe tell me how it did in the NPD, I honestly can't remember. It was over a year ago now, but it wasn't great. So I'm not surprised that they're departing from those games, because they didn't do well. The horror games, even though people like them and they've got a following, you need to be making money. Now, what's happened with Tango Gameworks is that when the studio was founded by Shinji Mikami, he ran out of money when they were making their first project, which never released, by the way, that got cancelled. He ran out of money. So then that's when he went to ZeniMax Asia and basically sold his studio, which was a brand new studio that hadn't released the game yet, right? Sold the studio to ZeniMax Asia. With ZeniMax owns Bethesda. Microsoft bought Bethesda, therefore Microsoft owns Tango Gameworks. So that's the history there. So this game was unannounced. It was in the Xbox Developer Direct the other day. It was an unannounced game, although it did leak like maybe a day or a few hours, half a day before it went, before the Developer Direct went live. But it was unannounced. It was an unannounced game. It is a rhythm action game that has a very interesting, quite bright and colourful art style, right? Let me play it again. Can I skip this damn ad? I'll mute that. I'll play it if people can. I'm not sure how this looks when it plays. Let me see what are people saying here. I've got to look at your chats. I've got to turn that thing off. Yeah, let me go. So let me go back to it. Sorry, where did it go? Where? Oh no, this is gameplay. What is this? You get this off here. I don't want that. Oh, this is some gameplay. How did this get on here? Oh, maybe we can just put this on then. Where's the actual gameplay? So, yeah, this is a rhythm action game. There's an interesting art style and everything. And because this game was shadow drops and it wasn't announced, it was unexpected surprise. People were very enthusiastic and it's been very well received. The art style and everything, people were saying it initially they said, oh, it looks a bit like Jet Grind Radio or Jet Set Radio, which I don't think it does, other than the fact that it's cel shaded. I actually don't think this art style looks similar to that, to be honest with you. It's just cel shaded. The animation is nice because it looks like that they've animated the characters in like you know, the normal kind of what would you call it, like 20, a bit like 25 frames a second was how you like normal animations are done, right? But then yeah, you can see the characters are 20. Look at the characters are moving at 25 frames. The animations at 25 frames. But I think the actual I don't know if this is in game or not. The actual, when it's actually in game, it's running at 60 frames. So I think that's why it looks like that, right? Why it has that look to it. So yeah, so this is pretty well received. People like this game, and it's launched. It's in Game Pass, so if you have the Game Pass service, you can see the characters are moving at 60 frames, but it's not animated at 60 frames. Do you understand what I mean? Because if this was animated at like the mouth movements and everything, it would look different. But you can see the actual game is 60 frames. What is running here, you can see him moving now. So I think that's why it looks like that. I think because you get this kind of weird when they do all the animations at the 60 frames, you get this kind of weird look to it when it's a cel shaded thing. So I think what they've done here is better, doing the animations at like 20. I think it's like 25 frames would be normal for animation. So I think that's what they've done. So it's a rhythm action game. And I've not played it because well, I don't have an Xbox or Game Pass or whatever, and quite frankly, I am very bad at rhythm games. I've never been good at them. So yeah, it's probably not for me. But this is very well received and people really like it. So what does everyone think about Hi-Fi Rush? Did I say the name? That it's called Hi-Fi Rush? Am I dumb? I didn't say what it was called. Hi-Fi Rush. for our audio. There will be audio listeners at one point once I get this uploaded. This trailer that we're actually no, this is gameplay we're watching at this point. This is actual gameplay, and he's got a guitar and he's, you know, hitting it, and it's the way I've heard it described is that it's a action game and you hit enemies, right? You hit enemies, but if you hit them in time with the beat, you get like critical hits or like additional damage or something like that, or like combos and stuff. So anyway, yeah, I'm not good at rhythm games, so this is probably won't be doing this one. Let me see, can I get that chat open on like on my other browser, so I don't have to, so I don't have to stop the gameplay. Let me see. Can I do it? Just one sec. I'm gonna do this. Can you see this gameplay? Copy. Yes, I know I can play PC and I have a PC, but J2, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Just between me and you, I'm not that much of a PC gamer. I'm just really not. I have a PC and I have games on it, and when I play Final Fantasy 14, I normally play the PC version just because it's easier with like using Discord when I'm like I want to talk to my friends, right? And you use Discord. It's easier to do that when you're sitting on a PC. So I have the game on the PlayStation 5, but it's just, you know, it's just much better that way. Right, okay. Let me stop that. I've put this chat up in a separate window. So now I don't have to stop. If you can see that game, do you like the gameplay? I'll leave it on. You can. Oh, you heard it. You heard what I was saying. Okay. Solid Python says, I wonder what are the numbers for P3 and P4 digital. Both games still hold top 3 in Japan eShop bestsellers a week later. I would love to know those numbers too. Maybe we will get an announcement from Atlas about those games and how they have sold worldwide. At this point, we just have no clue. We have no clue because Atlas, in their infinite wisdom, as we know that they're such a good, they just run their business so well. They didn't go bankrupt 3 times in the past. They run their business so well that they decided not to release a physical of those games, but yes, to release a physical of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax in Japan that nobody wanted. They did that. So I don't know. Game Killer, I don't know if I missed it, but did you go over the Fire Emblem Engage sales? I did go over it. I can quickly talk about it again if you like. So basically, yeah, so we'll stop that gameplay for a sec. Fire Emblem Engage, it sold 144,558, which is almost flat with Three Houses. But there's a couple of caveats that we've discovered with this game, because I and many others thought it would be significantly over Three Houses. I thought it was going to be about 200k, but it seems what's happened is, as you can see this on the screen, if you're looking at the screen, right, you can see the sell through. Look at this bar. It's over 80%, right? So this means it sold through, and then we've had basically confirmation now that there were stock shortages of this game at Yodobashi, Amazon Japan, and Komeg. I know it's not called Komeg. I'm not going into this again. It's not called Komeg. I am calling it that, okay? Right? It's like Kongu Net or something. I don't care. I'm calling it Komeg. So, yeah, on Amazon Japan, I believe it's on back order. So there's been stock shortages. So I think it would have sold more without those stock shortages, basically. And then also you need to consider the voucher program, which is basically two, you probably know about this, if you're an NSO member, you get 2 digital games for the equivalent of $100, right? So it's quite a significant saving. So a lot of people do that, especially for these games. I mean, look at the price of this. It's 6,980 yen, right? So, I mean, actually, this one's not that expensive, but if you convert it, that's probably not that expensive. But a lot of these RPGs, especially, are quite expensive. I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was more than this. So, you know, some of them are 8,000, 9,000 yen, right? It's pretty pricey. So, the Nintendo first-party games, you get the situation where some of the they have a really unusually high digital rate. So for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, we know that it was a 60% digital rate, which for Japan is that's ridiculously high, because the average is around 30% in Japan for digital, around there. So it can be like 20 to 30%, but yeah, it's around 30%, I would say. So that's really high, and that's because of this voucher program. So when we got the initial sales for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, people were like, oh, it's not that high. But then when you account for the digital, 60% digital it was, because we get the shipment numbers from Nintendo. So we will get the numbers from Nintendo, but it's not going to be until like May or something like that. So we have to wait a while, and you'll probably see the same situation. So that's what happened with Fire Emblem. Now, these sales are definitely not bad. This is good. But many people, myself included, were very surprised that it didn't sell significantly more than Three Houses. But it turns out there's actual shortages of this game, of the physical game. It's sold out in places. So that's what happened. Yeah. So let's see what you're saying over here. J2 Blue says still need to play this game, looks pretty good. That's Hi-Fi Rush, right? Yeah. Vinnie Mac, I do not get the hate for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. That is a phenomenal RPG. Do you know, I have not played it. I have it. I did buy it. I got the Switch version of it. I haven't played it yet. It's in my backlog. It's in the backlog, Vinnie Mac. That's where it is, in the backlog. So the reason for the hate. So this is my understanding, right? If Spencer's, I don't know if Spencer's still here, or any of the Mega 10 fans, this is my understanding, or I guess Fire Emblem fans as well. When they announced this game, right? They announced it's Shin Megami Tensei cross Fire Emblem, and they had all these characters on the screen and everything, right? So people were thinking this was going to look like... I think like, because there's not really many... There's some Mega 10 characters in it, and then the Fire Emblem characters... There's some Mega 10 characters, and then the Fire Emblem characters are like... they look different from how they normally look. So people were like annoyed it wasn't in the head and all these idols and stuff. It's based on idols, isn't it? So people were annoyed at that, and solid platform. I don't think it's the censorship. I don't think that's the reason. I don't think that's the main reason. I don't think the censorship was the reason, because you're looking at people. It didn't sell well in Japan either, where there was no censorship. It flopped in Japan too. So it's not the censorship, and the censorship in that game was really mild, from my understanding. They just changed some outfits and stuff, so it doesn't like change the story or anything like that. It's basically like it was hyped. Yeah, I think it was this. It was hyped up as a Fire Emblem cross SMT game, and it didn't satisfy either of the fan bases when they saw what it really was. I think that's it. How they messed that up, I do not know. It should have looked like maybe if they did it so it was more like, what do you call it? Like it was more in the gameplay on the Fire Emblem side with the grids, like the strategy grid system. So it looked like, what's that one on the 3DS? Devil Survivor? It's Devil Survivor, that one? Maybe if it had looked more like that. with because what they had when they did the like an initial trailer for it, it looked like they showed like all the SMT protagonists and all of that. So I think that's why people were annoyed. Game Killer says, I'm shocked. What's it? It's such a great game. I'm still shocked by the hate. Honestly, I wished Atlas would take more chances like that. Well, you know, Game Killer, the reason they took that chance because that game was funded by Nintendo. It's completely Nintendo, so they ain't gonna do that off their own dime. I think that's the reason. They're not gonna do it on their own dime. Vinnie Mac says, I get the censorship part, I really do. But taking that aside, the game and the story itself is a fun game. Okay, I'll get round to it. So Pie from Hi-Fi Rush looks more like if they tried to make an anime out of Sunset Overdrive. A little bit. Game Killer says the same thing. Because of the... Yeah, so it doesn't exactly have rail grinding in that game. I think it's like you swing on some zip lines a little bit, but it's mostly hitting enemies with melee. Those are mainly melee attacks. You can play on PC. I know, J2, I know. But I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that, J2. I don't play on the PC. Mousy. It's pretty fun so far. I love the cat. Oh, you're enjoying it? Awesome. Yeah, the cat looks pretty cute. The voucher program has been active in the US for years. Some may not know about it. It's true because we still have it in the UK. They advertise it every now and again, and it's in the. If you go on the Switch, like actually on the Switch, and go to they have that little section for NSO. It's in there. Like you can actually see it. It will say in there. It's like one of your perks. It's this voucher thing, which I never use because I buy physical if I can. I buy physical if I can for like most of my games. Only thing that I didn't really buy physical was Splatoon 2 and 3 I bought digital. For that particular game it makes more sense because I play it so much and it's like an online game basically with a lot of updates, so it kind of made sense for me to have that digitally. I play Splatoon a lot, so apologies if you heard that. I apologise. I'm drinking gassy drink. Game Killer. Kind of surprised at the stock shortage. I wonder if it has anything to do with the increased trend of online sales. I kind of figured it was near free houses. I think that's I think maybe that's an autocorrect. Predatory good for an anniversary game. What do you mean particularly good for an anniversary game? Right, yeah. So the sales aren't near free houses, right? There's a lot of online. People do buy a lot of games online, right? Physical games get them delivered. Obviously, Amazon is pretty much the biggest at that, probably worldwide. So the stock shortages are basically because the retailers buy the stock. So it's them that they decide how much of a stock they're gonna buy. So they're spending their money to buy the games from the game publishers. So I think because there's been some games in the past where they maybe bought too much and it was overstocked and they were in the voucher program, so the stock sold a lot more slowly, they were more cautious. So they were too cautious and it seems to have sold out in places. So it's on back order, so I think it's not, if you go on Amazon Japan, it's on back order, so it's gonna be more stock within a week or two. So Mousy says no Megaten characters are in it at all, and it's not tactical. Yeah, so that's the issue, right? Mousy. It seems like you've shown all these Megaten protagonists and they're not in it. So that's the problem. People are annoyed at, I think. It's not tactical. People were expected as a tactical monster collecting. Oh, yeah, a tactical monster collecting game. They should have made that. The problem is, because it flopped or whatever, they're not going to go back and do it again. I don't think... Like, and I was even surprised that I'm really glad they did, and that game's not stuck on the Wii U. That they ported it to Switch. But even when they ported it, it kind of, like, still sold badly. So, I don't think... Like, are they going to do another one of those? Or... Like, or even go back and do maybe something else when that one flopped. Unfortunately, I think not. It would be nice if they did. I think like Nintendo will do that if the game, even if the game has like modest sales, it has to be like a modest success, right? So like Bayonetta's in that situation where it's like a modest success, where it makes its money back and then some. That's basically what they want. They don't expect every game that's going to blow up and be, you know, like Smash Brothers or whatever. But it needs to be a modest success for what it is. So Bayonetta selling around 1 million is a modest success. It's a very niche title. So the problem is that Tokyo Mirage Sessions didn't get anywhere near 1 million, I don't think. Even with the re-release. So if it had been a modest success, I think you would see Nintendo work with Atlas again to make another one, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. Or maybe not even another one of those. Maybe just another collab of some sort. Maybe there'll be some other collab. Unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna happen. So yeah, I mean, they should have done that. What are you saying, Mousy? They should have done a game that was it was tactical with Megaten characters in it and Fire Emblem characters. Where's that game at? That's the game people wanted. Tactical monster collecting. I think that's basically what Devil Survivor is. Are there Megaten fans in here who played Devil Survivor? Is that the one I mean? The tactical one that's on the DS or whatever? Does everyone know what I'm talking about? Isn't it called Devil Survivor? That one? I believe that's basically what it is. I think like people wanted that. I think even if it had stayed with like with the even I think even if it had been like with the SMT gameplay, like just like normal turn based with like with that gameplay, but it had been with Megaten characters, not the idol thing. People, I think it's fine as a game on its own. I think is what I gather, but it's not what people thought it was going to be from either of the fan bases, and it ended up like that. So yeah, Game Killer. The idol part made it interesting to made was a nice change of pace. I feel where you're coming from. Thanks to Nintendo, Nintendo funding, we got Astro Chain, and I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. Waiting for a sequel on the Super Switch. Is that what it's called? Super Switch. Yeah, maybe it will be called the Super. That'd be so funny if it's called Super Switch. Yeah, basically like games like Astral Chain and everything. That's not a big seller, right? I don't think Nintendo went into that big thinking that's going to be a big seller. And look, they're making now, what's that? They're making a spin-off of Bayonetta, right? A Bayonetta spin-off, which, good lord, that game is going to sell even less than Bayonetta's niche. So you're making a spin-off of an already niche game in a kind of like cel-shaded type art style that looks like it's a top-down. It's not. I think it's completely top-down, but it's like this cel-shaded art style. It's difficult for me to say. So, that's, yeah, I think that Platinum wanted to make Okami, but they can't because it's owned by Capcom. So they're like, Nintendo, we want to make Okami. Well, we can't make that happen. Oh, damn it. Okay, let's make this Bayonetta spin-off, but kind of looks a little bit like Okami, but it's not. Yes, get it done. I think that's what happened. So, yeah. I think Nintendo will do that for the modern success, but Tokyo Mirage, yeah, I was just surprised they ported it. I'm really happy they did. So it's good for people like me who didn't have the opportunity and didn't have a Wii U. But I don't think they're going to do it again. Unfortunately. Will they do another collab with Atlas? I don't know. If they did, what would you like to see? For example, is there something in particular? Would you like to see them try the Fire Emblem Cross SMT thing again, or would you like them to do something else? Maybe Atlas makes the next like Mario and Luigi or something. Or something like that. I don't think so. But yeah, what would you like to see them do? Genki, my bad. That was my phone ringing. My phone being difficult. I mean, it sold pretty good. Oh, what you said before. Okay, it sold pretty good. It'll be interesting to see the sales in about 2 years. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Astral Chain? Yeah. It sold decently. I think it was over 1 million, right? Game Killer. As much as I love Bayo, I don't think I'll get it at full price. $40 for sure. Are you talking about that spin-off game? Yeah, it's a full price game. So the thing is, it's a Nintendo first party, so you'd have to find, some stores do put the prices down. If you wait around and look on like Amazon or something, you'll probably see the price go down. Yeah. Solid Python. I don't know what Nintendo is thinking with that Bayo spin-off. It looks like an indie game and it's a niche-fied franchise. Why is it $60? I'm a Bayonetta fan and even I don't want to buy it. LMAO. Yeah. Why is it $60? Because Nintendo. I think that's I think we can all agree that's the answer to that. I don't want to buy. Yeah, wait for a price drop. See if you can find it cheaper somewhere else. Look for a second-hand copy. Look on eBay or whatever. You can find. You can find that cheaper. It is like an indie game. It's a niche franchise. Okay, so what they're thinking is like, 'cause you think, why would they fund that game that's clearly not going to sell very well? I mean, it's obvious. Bayonetta doesn't sell that much. You make a spin-off of that game, it's not going to sell very much. I think they knew that I think they know already going into it that it's not going to sell much. Just put it that way, right? So they want to make their money back on it. So I think they will make their money back on it. So obviously it didn't have a big budget. Nintendo's thinking is, what I'm thinking is that they want variety, is what I think that is. I think they want different variety, different genres and different stuff. And if you're making games or commissioning games like Bayonetta and then a spin-off game, it's adding variety to the platform. So I think that's what it is. They want a lot of variety and bring different people in. So they have things like that, and then they have things like, Ring Fit Adventure. That's not the same audience, right? So that's what I think it is. Solid Python says maybe a Pokemon game made by the Persona team. Good idea, but why the Persona team? Why not the SMT team? Because they actually already make a monster collecting game. Wouldn't the SMT team make more sense? Or is it the Maniacs team? Wouldn't they make more sense? But yeah, only Persona. So would you want like the simulation elements in a Pokemon game, like a Pokemon visual novel, but like with the monster collecting as well? Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to see what they could do. Do something more interesting than Game Freak. Game Freak. It would look better at least. Oh dear. Genki, I was talking about sales for Fire Emblem Engage. Oh, in 2 years. Yeah, I was talking about the bear spin for $40. Yeah, that's fair. I can understand why you wouldn't want to pay full price. It's a big ask for a game like that, honestly. So a lot of people probably wait for it. If you wait, you can find it on, it'll be cheaper on Amazon. You can look for second-hand copies, so on. So if you wait, you'll find that cheaper. Vinny Mac, people ask got to look at it from a business standpoint. You want to foster those relationships. So what are you referring to there? People ask got to look at it from a business standpoint too. You want to foster those relationships. Are you referring to the Atlas thing or the Platinum games or both? Maybe you're referring to both. Maybe it's both. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other reason as well. You're fostering relationships with those developers. So it's good to have good relationships with those developers, and you're also giving them regular work, because Platinum knows that basically they've got steady work coming from Nintendo, right? With Bayonetta, and there's probably going to be another Bayonetta game, and maybe another Astral Chain was successful. There'll be probably another Astral Chain. They've got steady work coming in from Nintendo. So, and it's like good to have that relationship, because I mean, Platinum also made that Star Fox game, right? That was, people didn't really like that much, right? She wasn't like that stuff. My understanding is people didn't like that Star Fox game that much because of the controls with the Wii U gamepad and stuff. Now, I've never played that game because I never had a Wii U. I'm sure, a lot of people didn't have a Wii U. But I've seen videos of how you play that game, and you do have to like have the Wii U, like you're looking through the cockpit view with the Wii U gamepad, and then at the screen is like your whole field of vision. You can see everything outside the third person view from the outside the ship. So if you wanted to aim carefully, more accurately, you have to use the Wii U gamepad. But it means you have to look away from the screen, so you're looking down and up and down and up, and people didn't like it. So that's what it was. Oh yes, Atlas did a great job of merging Persona with Etrian Odyssey with Persona Q, and I think they could find a nice balance for SMT and Fire Emblem. Yes, I did like Persona Q. Persona Q 1, I haven't played the second one, but Persona Q was my first Megaten game, and so I played that. I didn't even know what Persona was. I'd never played it. I was like, what is this? My friend said, oh, this game's good, you should play it. Didn't know what it was about, played it, really loved it. And then people were like, oh, I love that game. I port it. I want the HD version of that game. I don't know how it works. It probably wouldn't work as well on one screen. What I'm wondering is, they said years ago they're making an Etrian Odyssey. I'm like, how are you going to do that on a single screen? I don't know. It probably won't be as smooth as gameplay when looking at the two screens, but I'm sure they can figure out a way to do it. And I really liked Persona Q. I thought that was great. Here's the thing about Persona Q, right? Because I had a friend, my friend that played it recommended it to me. I said, did you finish that? He's like, no. So you never got to the end, you never see, right? Because there's Persona characters from Persona 3 and 4 in Persona Q, and then there's original characters in there, right? So when you find out what's the deal with those original characters, I thought that was really well done, and the music is so good. I'm sorry, I don't care who I have to fight. I'll get in a physical fight with you over this. The battle music for Persona Q is one of the best battle music, and it's certainly it's better than the battle music in Persona 4, I'll tell you that. I'll fight anyone who doesn't agree. No, that's right, you can disagree, but I really love that battle theme. I think that battle theme is amazing. So Python, I feel like SM Team would also make Pokemon right, so here's the thing. Did you know they already did that? They already made a SMT Pokemon game back in the day. I think it's called Devil Children. Devil Children, and it was on the Game Boy. I believe it was a Game Boy game. And I think that the first, there was maybe a couple that were Japan only. Oh, and then they released. It did get released in overseas. I think at least in the States. So they actually did that. It's like they legit did that. It was called Devil Children. I haven't played them, but they exist, and they even did like 2 versions. It was like White Book and Black Book or something, and they made kind of some more cutesy versions of the SMT devils, or what do you call them? What do you normally call them? Devils. Demons, I guess. They made more cutesy versions of them. So yeah, they actually did that. And I think with the first one did okay, and then it's just like kind of like flippity flopped after that, and then they didn't make any more of them. So they did that, but they cutesified them. Let me see if I can find it, because it's an actual thing. Let me see. I'm just gonna hide this screen for a second. You wouldn't believe me if I told you that it's a sorry if that typing's loud. So yeah, here's just a wiki page or whatever. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. There's an actual thing name. Oh, it's in a Game Boy Color. Also known as Demi-Kids, is a series of role-playing video games primarily developed by Multimedia Intelligence Transfer and published by Atlas. Okay, so it wasn't done by like their internal team. It was it was a different developer. It is a spin-off of Atlas' Megami Tensei franchise, and began in 2000 with the Game Boy Color games Black Book and Red Book. 5 more role-playing games and 3 games in other genres were released until 2004, followed by no new releases until 2011 social game Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children. In addition to the games, the series has been adapted into a manga, anime, a trading card game, and 2 soundtrack albums that have been released by First Entertainment. So there you go. So this was an actual thing that they did. Do we have some images? There you go. So there was a manga, there was an anime of this thing. So look, they actually did it. Look at this picture. So yeah, I want to see this large. There you go. This looks like the PlayStation version. I guess they ported it to PlayStation. How do I get this stuff off the background? Can you not just see it full screen? I don't know, but yeah, you can see like the demons, they cutesified them. So that you can see there's Jack Frost here, all these cutesy ones. Where's my Mega 10 experts? Spencer left, didn't there? And then it's like, what's this weirdo Jack Frost in the background that's got a giant hat? Oh, there we go. Is that how you get... Why didn't I get rid of the thing before? What? Yeah, Devil Children. Devil Children. There you go. It was an actual thing. How do I get back to the other page? So yeah. And then yeah, they localised it as Demi-Kids. So I guess this is what it looks like. Oh God in heaven, why are you doing that? I already had that page open. Where did the image go? I wanted to visit that. Open in new tab. Oh, it just opens that. That's annoying. Yeah. So this was the thing. I wouldn't mind playing this actually. I love it. Like the Game Boy is like it's low key kind of like my favorite thing. That's tiny. You can't really see it. It's kind of like my probably not my favorite, but I like Game Boy was like one of my favorite platforms. Honestly, like I never got to play any of this. So this would be really cool. So it'd be cool if they brought this back, but that's not gonna happen. They're not bringing this back. There's so many Megami Tensei franchises that are just like gone. Like there's tons of them. Like some people know here that there's over. If you look at all the games in the Megami Tensei franchise, that's everything. It's like over 100, right? Is it over 100 games? And that's not even counting all like the mobile games and all of that. So there you go. I don't know. Can you see this? This might be too small for you to see. That's that same page. I'm trying to open that page. That's the same wiki page. I'm not sure. Maybe this is too small for you to see. Oh, I can't get this to come up. But yeah, so there was an anime of this in 2000. I'd love to go and watch these old animes. So this was obviously, here's one. Oh, they had it on a Game Boy Advance as well. So yeah, I don't think I can enlarge that. They had it on the Game Boy Advance. So obviously this is during, you know, the Pokemon boom, right? So that's why Alice is like, oh, we need to get on that, quick. They needed to get on it so fast they didn't even make it themselves. Like, got another studio to make it quick. We need to make a Pokemon, make a Pokemon clone, quick, stat. So, hey Dali, how you doing? Nice to see you. We're talking about the Mega 10 Pokemon clone that Atlas made. Which is really obscure now, right? But yeah, because someone here said, oh, you know, SMT. Oh yeah, Solid Python was like, oh, imagine if the SMT team made a Pokemon game. I'm like, well, they already did it. They did do that. Then they started the game started flopping after a while, and then some of them didn't release outside of Japan. But yeah, they made Devil Children. So this is it. So you can see, oh, this is someone's art of it. This is someone's own art. They cutesified all the demons. They're all cutesified, right? So I would like to play this. I would like to play this. So here's the Game Boy Advance cut. See, I guess these were two two different versions. Like how Pokemon does it with two different versions, right? So Game Boy Advance. So yeah. It'd be cool if they brought some of these Mega 10 games back, right? But they won't. They won't do it. Anyway, don't get me started on Atlas and their nonsense. We'll be all bloody day. Atlas, damn you. Okay. So the only other thing I have to talk about, I guess, there was some news. Talking of Atlas, I want to get onto this. Talking of Atlas, there was some news about Vanillaware. So Vanillaware is a separate studio from Atlas, right? They're not owned by Atlas or Sega. They're completely separate. They're independent, but Atlas still publishes their games. Because Atlas, before they were bought by Sega, they were published. They published a lot of games that weren't their own, right? So there's been some news from Vanillaware from a recent interview. So this is on Gematsu. A Vanillaware fantasy game teased in 2019 is at the end of development, George Kamitani says. So George Kamitani is, I believe he's the founder of this studio. So one of Vanilleware's biggest productions, apparently. So this comes, and shout outs to who. So I did already hear this news, but somebody in the Discord did tell me about it. Was it who said that? It's Roach. Shout outs to Roach for the links in the Discord. Thank you very much. So yes, this is going to be one of Vanilleware's biggest productions. Now, in recent releases, they had 13 Sentinels. There was a Switch port of that, and then also Grimoire, which is their PS2 game, got ported to modern platforms recently. That game is not published by Atlas though. That was published by Nippon Ichi Software, I believe, published that. So, because they published it originally on the PS2. So here's very interesting. So this is off the back of this interview. And they're saying there was a teaser trailer in the extras section for the paid. There was a paid trial of that game. A paid trial of 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. And there was a teaser trailer for the new game. So in an interview with Nintendo's Vanillaware co-founder George Kamitani says, let me enlarge this so you can see it. Says that there's the title's long in development and is both at the end of development and set to be one of Vanilleware's biggest games yet. Right? Apparently he's not. I think it goes on later when it says he's not directing it. Oh yeah, it says here, I'm not directing it. In March 2019, for reasons I won't get into, we released only the prologue of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, but it did include a video of our next title in it, Kamitani said, and now it's finally finished. While I'm not the director of that title, it's one of Vanilleware's biggest productions. I'm looking forward to it. Kamitani continued, lastly, the title I'm working on now won't be finished for several years, but once that big title But once that big title I'm telling you about is finished, I should get some development staff, so development of my project will finally move into full swing. Platforms and release window of the new title have yet to be announced. The only confirmed detail is that it will be published by Atlas. So Atlas will be publishing this new game. And there's some key art here. They said there's a video where, I don't know, maybe if I searched online I'll be able to find that teaser trailer. But yeah, so we know that this game is coming soon. They're going to announce it soon, basically. And also there was some information, I think, there was some additional, here's the original interview, but it is in Spanish. So I'd have to use like Google Translate, which is not always the best, this type of thing. But here's the original interview, right? With Nintendo's, and so we got a translation from the translation, and they were asked also about this game called Muramasa the Demon Blade. Muramasa the Demon Blade. People would really like this game ported. So I believe it was maybe on the Wii and so was it on the Vita? Maybe on the Wii and they made a Vita version, I think. of Muramasa, but it's not. Yeah, it's not on modern like active platforms at all. So they were asked about that, and Kamitani said, when asked about this, I think we would. I too would like to port Muramasa, but there are issues that I won't go into. Our priority now is to start on the homework that has been piling up on us, meaning get to work on the games we've been planning to make. So it doesn't seem like they would do this anytime soon, so, which is unfortunate. It's that game, when you get games that people really like, or they got cult followings, and then they're stuck on old hardware that's, you know, there's no modern port. It's unfortunate, right? So Muramasa already received a enhanced release back in 2013. Muramasa Rebirth launched on the PS Vita with new localization and 4 additional DLC type stories. Right. But it's only on the Vita. Which was, oh my god, this is so funny. Which was specifically chosen because of the little handheld's OLED screen. I didn't know that. That's wild. And there's another console with an OLED screen. Oh. So they're maybe too busy to do this. And I think also, they also said when it comes to 13 Sentinels, so this was in the full interview, that basically apparently it was Atlas that asked for them to do that. Because I always thought, or I don't know about anyone else, I assumed that Vanillaware were like, yo, Atlas, let's put this on the Switch. What do you think? Apparently no. Apparently Atlas asks. Okay, so here it is. This is Google Translate, alright, of a Spanish interview talking to someone who's speaking in Japanese. So, okay, it is what it is. But there is official translation of this. But this is basically correct. Your last published game was 13 Sentinels Age of Swim. At what point did you decide you wanted to bring it to Nintendo Switch? Kamitani. Atlas contacted us immediately after the PlayStation version released, so we started work on the port, but it wasn't released until 3 years later that the Nintendo Switch version was released. At that time, Mr. Kamiyama did his best to lighten the requirements of the game for the Nintendo Switch. He also took the liberty of adding some additional equipment. Laughs. Additional equipment. I think they put some... What did they put in there? They put like DLC weapons or something, right? I think that's what he means. So yeah, Atlas said, hey yo, Switch port. But they didn't get it done for 3 years. So yeah, that's kind of some new information. And yeah, who knows what's gonna... I wonder if this can be found. This little... They made a teaser of this new game. Yeah, Dragon's Crown's another one that hasn't been ported, right? People want these old Vanillaware games to get ported. So, yeah, what does everyone think about that? Are you familiar with Vanillaware? Are you looking forward to this port? This possible port? J2 says, Atlas the Pokemon, can I copy your homework? Yeah, basically. Is basically doing that whole... There was a whole load of Pokemon clones back then. Don't know if everyone remembers. There was a load of stuff like that back then. And just none of them managed to like beat out Pokemon or like become as big as Pokemon. We even saw Yokai Watch, rest in peace Yokai Watch, that came and went. I love Yokai Watch, by the way. Don't get me into that. I'm going to start looking at level 5. I'll be here all day. And actually, I'm going to wrap up this show in 15 minutes. Let me hang on a sec. Let me look in the chat. Yeah, hang on, let's see. Platinum Code developed the game with Nintendo. Star Fox Zero. Yeah. Solid Python. I feel like the most brain dead, obvious collab Nintendo isn't taking advantage of. Captain Falcon action game by Platinum. Is that obvious? You're saying that's obvious? How is that obvious? That's not obvious. So hang on. So not racing. No racing. No. It's not like a regular F-Zero where they're racing. It's like just Captain Falcon just running around, like doing Devil May Cry combos and beating enemies. Is that what we're saying? Really? Is that obvious? I don't know if that's obvious or. But yeah, maybe something like that will be made. Like there's constantly rumors that they're making a new F-Zero, right? It's this new rumor. Oh, F-Zero. I'll be honest with you, like I don't really care about F-Zero that much personally. I've never really played it, but I'm not into racing games, so that's why it doesn't appeal to me. And this is Mario Kart, but that's just because Mario Kart is like just kind of wacky, right? But I don't know, maybe I'd like F-Zero. I used to like Burnout back in the day. I used to like Burnout. J2, honestly, Star Fox Zero probably would have been better if the controls were better. Yeah, I think that was the main issue. And that game, I'm pretty sure they can't port that to Switch because of the weirdo looking through the cockpit thing with the Wii U gamepad. I think they can't do it. Game Killer 64. I'm hoping they can find a way to have Etrian Odyssey gameplay on one screen so they can port the 3DS games and make new ones. How would they do that on one screen though? Because the thing is with those games, not only you're looking at the dungeon like in a first person view, and then you also have the map which you're drawing with a stylus. Now I know they have the auto, you can kind of auto do it. Now when I did it, I drew the map manually because I was I don't know, I was there for that drawing with the stylus. I don't know, I just liked it, right? But I guess they could do that auto, but then I feel like they'd have to do something where you're switch. The whole point of that is because you're looking at the map and the first person view at the same time, you're able to move and look at the map and draw the map out, right? But if you're having to switch between like two, like say they have it where you can switch from the first person, the dungeon view to the map view, like how's that? You'd be flipping between them. I feel like that wouldn't work. Maybe they'd do it so like the dungeon map is small, or like you can have one big and one small, or something like that. I don't know. They said years ago they was making a new Etrian Odyssey. I don't know. The thing is, here's the thing with Atlas, right? Their output has dropped off drastically. Look at all the games they put on the 3DS. Look at how many there was there. They dropped off hard. I think it's just because, like, honestly, just when it comes to like the HD development, it took them so long to catch up. And it was like that with a lot of Japanese developers, but Atlas, man, good lord, they're slower than Nintendo on it. Yeah, so PQ2 OST slaps. I haven't played. Do you know the reason I didn't play PQ2? Because I didn't at the time. I haven't played Persona 5, and when I played the first one, PQ, it low-key spoils some stuff from those games from P3 and 4, right? And I'm like, okay, if I play that next one, it's gonna spoil Persona 5. So I was like, oh, let me play that first, and then it's like, oh yeah, that'll get ported to Switch eventually. Oh yeah, 3-4 years later. So Game Killer, Star Fox Zero deserves a second chance for success like Xenoblade X. Xenoblade X hasn't got ported. Game Killer, that is stuck on the Wii U. Oh, you're saying it should be. Oh yeah, maybe you're saying it should be. Maybe I read that wrong. It deserves a second shot, and Xenoblade X deserves. Yeah, Xenoblade X. Definitely. Hello, Daddy. Are you still here? I bet Daddy left. Daddy's like, nah, I'm out. I don't know. Okay, you're talking to J2. J2, Vanillaware games have always been great, so I'm looking forward to what the new project is. Yeah, I'll let me see if I can find that teaser in a sec. Muramasa Rebirth is one of my favourite Vita games. I would love to play that on my Swold. The Swold, yeah. It's interesting. I think the colours would really pop, but looking at that, the art style, how that looks, do I have it on that screen? Where is it? Look at that, the art style. That would really pop on a OLED screen, you're right. That really would. So yeah, that's why that was on the Vita apparently. Solid Python says people assuming that the issues with Muramasa getting a re-release is because of Sony's censorship policies. I get where people are coming from, but I mean the original game was on the Vita though. So I mean I guess you're saying they've changed their policies. I mean yeah, they kind of have. They've kind of changed their policies since then. That's why I wouldn't get a port. Yeah, I don't know. That might not be the issue. It could be like some technical reason. We don't know. It could be like they can't get the engine working on like a more modern platform or something like that. It's not necessarily... I just don't... I don't know if they would censor... If Sony would censor a game they already had on one of their platforms. Or maybe they would. I don't know. J2 says, I wonder what the reasons it couldn't be ported. My only guess is the publisher doesn't want it to. Are we still talking about Muramasa? Well, the publisher's Atlas though. So it'd be down to them, right? Oh, is it you say it's Marvelous? It probably has more of the publisher that wanted to do Marvelous. Is Marvelous the publisher of Muramasa? Is that what it is? Or maybe it's that then. Maybe it's that. I don't see why Marvelous wouldn't want to do that. Haven't they done like other stuff that was older recently? Like they keep doing those. What are those farm sim games called? Oh my god, Rune Factory. They did all these old ass Rune Factory games. Why wouldn't they do that? Solid Python is more obvious because Captain Falcon and his Falcon Punch is more popular than any F-Zero game. That's probably true. Those F-Zero games, like, no, they didn't sell that well, right? Javanimo, work starting soon. Have a good day. Have a good day, Javanimo. Have a good day. Same, says Game Killer. I was big on drawing the map and writing my notes in Etrian Odyssey. Oh, so cute. You used the emoji. Oh, yeah, I emoji. Listen. I try to use a lot of emojis, right? Because I'm like, we were given these emojis. They're God-given emojis, right? Let's use the full range of what we were given. Solid Python. Plot twist. The new Etrian Odyssey was actually being made for 3DS and the Switch because Atlas Logic, probably. Atlas, oh my god, Atlas, like, oh god. A beer all bloody day. You want me to get started on Atlas? Really? Really? Do you want me to? Oh, so J2, yes, Marvelous published Muramasa, Grim Grimoire is NIS, and every other vanilla game is Atlas. Maybe that's why. It must be it's probably Marvelous then. Not the censorship stuff. That doesn't make any sense to me. The game's already on a Sony platform. You're saying it's Sony. I doubt that. And they've got those Dragon... You've seen what Dragon Crown looks like. That's on PS4, is it not? Game Killer. That's why development was so fruitful in 3DS, because some developers didn't even want to mess with the hassle of HD development. Yeah. Even Atlas is affected by it. I would include Game Freak, but I don't. Yeah, Game Freak was as well. Game Freak, yeah, their transition to HD was very, very slow. The first HD game we got made by Game Freak was, I mean, not the first one ever. I guess the first one ever was that. What was that elephant game? The elephant. But I mean, that was like a 2D game, right? Like Jambo or something it's called. Jambo the Bardas Elephant, I think. Was what their first ever one. That's like a 2D game, but their first like 3D, like using 3D assets, HD game was Pokemon Let's Go. And Atlas, like their first ever HD game was Catherine. I believe it's Catherine. And then they used that engine to make Persona 5. Yeah. J2 Blue, well, just 13 Sentinels, Odin's Sphere, and Dragon Crown. Yeah. Is that those are the Alice published ones? Well, we're kind of Odin's Sphere and Dragon's Crown. Yeah, people are always crying for those ones. And yeah, and Muramasa. So that's the news with Atlas. I don't know if I can find that. They're saying this on the teaser trailer. What would I even type in to try and find that? It doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a name. Maybe I'll look that for a sec. The only thing I was going to talk about Forspoken. To finish off, we could talk about Forspoken and then finish. What do you say? Forspoken. Oh, and I wanted to talk. No, sorry. Screw Forspoken. Let's talk about this. Forspoken is like, yeah, okay, he got a 67 on Metacritic and it's mid. That's the news with Forspoken. It's mid. Okay. This is way more interesting. This is Loose Brick last night from Noisy Pixel. This is really interesting. Square Enix Japan's survey asks fans what remakes and remasters Team Asano should develop. That is really cool. So Team Asano, as we know, are the team that make Bravely Default, the HD 2D games like Octopath Traveler, and the recent ones which is Triangle Strategy and Live Alive. So they asked them what remakes and remasters Team Asano specifically should develop. Really interesting, because I know what's on top of the list for most people. Square Enix Japan has recently launched a survey. There's a link to it. Oh yeah, let's open that in a new tab. I think I can't take it though because they want I think they want you to have a Japanese account. So fans can take online asking various questions pertaining to development staff Team Asano. Many of the questions are fairly self-explanatory and to be expected, but two noteworthy optional ones requiring a written response are the following. Which video game genre would you like to see Team Asano develop? What kind of games would you like to see remade or remastered in the future, not limited to Square Enix titles? Which that bit is wild to me. I don't understand. What do they mean not limited to Square Enix titles? Since there aren't any multiple choice options for these questions, it isn't easy to gauge the team's ballpark mentality. Still, this is quite small. Can you see it? Oh, it might be too small for you to see. Still, it's undeniably exciting to see them present two massive scale questions such as those, as it emphasises their confidence in their capabilities. Yeah, I'll say something about that in a sec. For the former question, it's a tad too broad to come up with anything, but I suppose seeing them tackle something more action orientated would be cool. Then again, I don't want them to say that. Then again, with Square Enix embracing action more and more lately, perhaps it'd be better for Team Asano to remain primarily turn-based developer. As for the second question, one can speculate endlessly. Of course, the apparent hopes for remasters of Bravely Default and Bravely Second. Having all three games on the same platform would be pretty sweet. As for other possibilities, a remake or remaster of the beloved Final Fantasy Tactics under their HD 2D belt would certainly garner praise. Regardless, it's impossible to assume anything concrete. The not limited to Square Enix titles mention is curious though. Unfortunately, only those with a Japanese Square Enix member account can take this survey. Our team's thanks to Yuji for doing so. If this survey becomes global available, we update this article. It's currently availability. It lasts until the 8th of February 2023 Japan time. So now I have a Square Enix account, but I don't have a Japanese one. So I think they wanted to. I guess you could just make one. But this survey is all in Japanese, obviously. But I mean, let's do this. Let's do this. Where's this auto translate? Huh? Why don't I have it on here? Where's the Google? How do I... Oh, it's not on this page for some reason. I don't have the browser extension installed. Oh no, it is on here. Never mind. Oh no, that's not the... Ugh, that doesn't translate the page. Hang on. Where'd it go? Wait, not that one. Did I not open it up on here? Where did I put the link? Oh, it's on there, isn't it? I don't understand, like... Oh, here it is, never mind. Okay, so this is literally all about Team Asano. Who is one of my favourite development teams. Now, Team Asano works, so they're on the Enix side of Square Enix. For anyone that doesn't know, Square Enix has different divisions, different development divisions, and some are on the Enix side and some on the Square side. So Team Asano is on the Enix side, where they kind of like work with external studios and stuff. Like a lot of the stuff Square Enix publishes is works with external studios, but yeah, so that's how they put out a lot of different games, because they work with a lot of different external studios to get them done. So yeah, so we are conducting a survey about, this is like hella small, isn't it? There you go. About 2 titles of Square Enix second development team Division 6, commonly known as Asano Team or Team Asano. In the questionnaire, we ask a wide range of questions such as experience and impressions of playing titles by the same team such as Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler, as well as future titles to be released. There are items that you can fill in freely, so please take this opportunity to send us your opinions. In addition, we've prepared a gift of not-for-sale goods that will be run by lottery from respondents. Oh yeah, so you need a Japanese address. We look forward to your cooperation. I'm going to get Genki to do this. I'm gonna ask Genki to do it. So, what a lot of people want, right? They're like, Chrono Trigger! You make Chrono Trigger! In the damn HD 2D style! Chrono Trigger! Final Fantasy 6! You give me that Final Fantasy 6! Those are the top 2 answers I find. Other people are asking for Xenogears. Xenogears is another one. I guess you could make that in the HD 2D style, because it was kind of it was 3D with like the sprites were 2D or something. Was it the sprites were 2D and the backgrounds were 3D or something? With Xenogears, I don't know, I've never played it. I've seen like what it looks like, but I haven't played it. So yeah, this is all about Team Asano. Oh, this makes me so happy. I love Team Asano. I have got nearly all of their games physically. I'm just waiting for, obviously, Octopath Traveler 2 and they made a console port of Various Day Life. I'm so happy they ported Various Day Life, and it's not stuck on goddamn Apple Arcades. Do it. No, Genki doesn't know about this survey yet. This news just broke last night. So he probably doesn't even know. I don't even know if he's into Team Asano like that, to be honest with you. He never talks about these. I've never seen him talking about them. So, but I'm gonna ask. I'll ask him to do it on mobile. I'll say that. Put my answers in, Genki. Okay, you put what I want. I would do the survey if I've got a feeling it's going to require. It says you need a Japanese Square Enix account, which one couldn't make, but maybe you need a Japanese address to make the Japanese Square Enix account. I don't know. I have a Square Enix account, but hold up. I just scratched that. No, I know what I have. When you play Final Fantasy 14, you have a Final Fantasy 14 like login or whatever, and then when I go onto the Square Enix website, it gives you the option of signing in with that Final Fantasy 14 account. So maybe I can use that on there. I'll try it. Excuse me for 1 second. Okay, so I'm at the end of my rope because of this health condition I've got that makes it difficult for me to talk after a while. So yes, Zombie TechPad, hi, nice to see you. Zombie TechPad says Team Asana are putting out Square Enix best games in my opinion. Yes, and this thing about them what genres you want to see. I don't want them to see go and do like action. Please, come on, man, don't make them go and do action games. Everything else Square Enix is doing is turning into action games. They bring back Valkyrie Profile and it's like a mid-action game. Like, why didn't you just make it like the other Valkyrie Profile games? It's like, I'm sorry, but Valkyrie Elysium was mid, right? Let's just be honest here. It was mid, right? Can we just stop for 1 second and realise that game was mid? I tried the demo of that. It was okay. But it didn't, it wasn't that exciting. I've seen gameplay of what the old Valkyrie Profile games look like. I haven't played them, but they look pretty cool. Someone's at my door. Excuse us. I'm sorry, I'm going to end this show in a second, but I'll come and end the show properly. Hang on, there's someone at my door. Sorry about that. It's Amazon. They're coming up in the lift now. I think, hopefully they can just post it through the door, because I think this is a volume of manga that I pre-ordered. So hopefully they'll just put it through the door. Yeah, I started collecting loads of Team Asano stuff, like soundtracks and book. I have the Octopath Traveler art book, so I might take some photos of that stuff that I have. So I started collecting because I'm a fan of their stuff. Genki didn't take. I'm gonna ask Genki, please take the survey and put my answers in. What answers would you all like to see? I guess you want Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6, am I right? Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6. Guess. That's what everyone wants, right? J2 Plus, Soma Bringer would probably be interesting. What's Soma Bringer? I don't know what that is. Soma Bringer. Please enlighten me. J2 says it's a good mid. Okay, so Valkyrie Elysium is a good. You're admitting it's mid. You're admitting it's mid. Oh my god, I really want to do that survey. Oh god, they're knocking on the door. Hang on a sec, I'll be back. Oh man, I do not know why they knocked on the door. They came out. Do you know what? It is that volume of manga that I pre-ordered. I'm really excited about this actually. Oh yeah, you should read this. Oh yes, this is volume 6 of Cherry Magic. 30 years of virginity can make you a wizard, and this was actually made into a live action TV show, which deviates from this quite a good bit. This is a BL rom. I actually call it kind of like a rom-com. It's kind of a comedy, but it's really funny. Even if you're not into BL, which is boys love, it's very this one's very easy to get into because it's very light and fluffy. So I would love to see, please. And oh, by the way, this is published by Square Enix. So this is Square Enix manga. This is their thing. This is it's actually published by Square Enix. So I just flipped through. It's all spoilers. It's all spoilers. Oh my god, I can't wait to read this. Please, for the love of God, Square Enix, make this into an anime. They made what's that other one called? My Dress Up Darling. I gotta watch that. I watched the first episode and it didn't really grab me that much because I saw people talking about it. I was like, oh, let me check it out. And I was like, it's alright. Didn't really grab me that. My Dress Up Darling. Can everyone hear me? Or am I just talking into the ether? I don't know. So yes, I was like, this is just a normal size volume of manga. They could have just posted this through the letterbox, but no, they went and knocked on the door. So yeah. Okay, I think that's a good place to end the show with me going to go and read my delicious BL cherry magic manga and have a cup of tea. I need to do some shopping actually. Anyway, so that's enough of that. Thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you for everyone that turned out. We had J2 Blues, Zombie Tech, Pads, Game Killer, Solid Python, Geronimo. Who else was here? Daddy was here. Vinnie Mac, who had to run earlier. Marcy Mousy. Yeah. Katana Riku was here. Timo was here. Well, thank you so much. It's been a good show. Yeah, Genki couldn't make it, but we still had a good show anyway. J2 says, whoops, wrong game. I meant Terranigma. That one. That is an action game. It made it into the States, but it did everywhere else. Yeah, I think they released it in Europe and stuff, right? But it never made it to the States. Yeah, that one gets asked for a lot as well. So Terranigma. Yeah, that one. That would be a good choice, I think, to be. Chrono Trigger is the one that everyone wants. I would like, because I've actually never played Chrono Trigger. You know what? Here's the thing. I bought it on Steam. Here's the thing. Someone was telling me earlier, why don't you just sit down and play on your PC? Because I don't like this computer. It's kind of like low-key uncomfortable to be sitting here for like a really long time. Right now I'm getting uncomfortable. So I don't know if I can be sitting here playing like some, dozens of hours long RPG sitting up at the PC. I don't know. I bought it because it was cheap on Steam and then I just didn't get around to playing it. Maybe I will. I would love for them to, oh my god, if they did a HD 2D remake of that, it'd probably break the internet. It would break a corner of the internet where we're just like hardcore gamers. Alright, thank you so much. And let's go ahead and I have a transition. I have a transition. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, everyone.